Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. How are you? Good to see you, Greg. N3. Autismo, how's it going there? Good to see you guys. Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a bit. Apologize for that. But we're here. We're here, man. We're here. So far, so good. So, how's everybody doing? Hope you guys are somewhat enjoying some holiday-ness going on. Been completely insane for me. How are things going down south? You know, it's been windy and more windy. We went from fire season to fire season. So we've had a lot of really high winds here. A lot of Santa Ana's going on, which is culminated to a lot of high clouds that we have as well. So we actually had several weeks where we just couldn't run. I couldn't do anything. We get kind of, sometimes we get this north wind blow too that comes down that we get 60, 70 mile an hour gusts that hit the house. So we just don't operate at all. So during those moments. So yeah, we've been dealing with that. That's what's been going on for us. And my work has been crazy. So as many of you know, I work in film and television, and I've been delivering a lot of different TV shows and stuff going on. We're trying to get stuff finished. Of course, we're in the COVID nightmare, so there's been kind of a mad dash to get things finished before things were getting locked down at one point. So, but yeah, and to top it off, our wonderful neighbors have, which is awesome. I'm not mad. I get it. They all have their Christmas lights out in their house outside, so it's been bright. But the crazy part is, guys, over the last week or so, was it? We did some observations, and as many of you know, we have our sky search that goes on pretty much nightly when we're not running our stream, and we also do transient detection. So we're looking for things like supernovas and any kind of variable stars, those kinds of things. So that happens automatically in the background while we're searching. So the images will come in, and it'll take our telescope will take a field, and our computer will store it as a library image. If we come back to that field again at a later time, it'll look at it, stack it, and look for any kind of potential transients that happen. And we have several discoveries. We've had 4 or 5 discoveries over the last month or so. We've had multiple mini novas, or dwarf novas, I should say, and a few variable stars and stuff going on. And so we've been making discoveries and submitting them. We actually had the AVSO put out a report a few weeks ago on a dwarf nova, and they were calling out some telescopes around the world to do some follow-up on it, which is amazing. So we're creating a lot of data coming out of our facility, as you guys might know. So we're still plugging away. The crazy part is we had the Minor Planet Center periodical came out, which is kind of the report on all the stuff that's been going on over the last few months. The Minor Planet Center comes out with this. They're supposed to do it a little bit more often than they do. They tend to be a little bit behind on some stuff. And they put out reports about all the observatories that are around the world working, and those kind of things. And they put out the report, and our observatory over the last few months, I want to give you that number. It normally it'll give all the observations that we've done over the last few months, and normally for the last year and a half that we've been doing this, we've had we might have about a paragraph worth of observations. They're kind of small print. It stacks it all through, so we'd have hundreds in there. No, man, we did. We had 5 pages worth of observations. I want to give you guys this number. I got to find this. Where did I put this? Let me see. I thought I had this pulled up, and I do not. What is the date today? N3. When did they come out with a periodical? What was the date? Here it is. Okay. So we did 11,821 observations on 3,241 asteroids, guys. On 3,241 objects is what we observed over the last couple months. 11,800 observations came out of our observatory. And so that's what we did right here with our backyard. pretty nicely done. We had about 5 pages worth, and we just, like, as many of you know, we just started the survey, so we are still very new, but we have multiple discoveries that have happened for our for the transient, and we've done 12,000 observations about coming out just the last few months. So a lot of stuff going on here at the Asteroid Hunter Control Center. My son and I, this thing just keeps going and going and going. So we're excited about it. If you guys haven't checked out the Asteroid Search channel, please do. That's something we run our survey pretty much. I try to run it. Well, aside from the stream, I'm trying to run it 5 or 6 nights a week. I mean, obviously, our goal is to look for NEOs. That's what we're doing. We had one. Man, we thought we had a discovery a few weeks ago, guys. Where I'm sitting here blinking through images, man, and this object pops right up, and it was like, whoa. Yeah, they've been slacking. For sure. That's okay. We just, like today, we ran last night, and I did 500 objects last night. So we submitted that day. But I ran the night before, and we did 600 objects. So in 2 nights, I've got 1,100 objects that I've sent in. So we just keep submitting the data. That's okay. So they'll keep slacking, but we'll keep working. But I want to tell you guys, we thought we had a NEO, and I had reported it. So it was I had. And again, when we detect stuff, guys, we don't just, hey, submit, done. Like, we're on a whim, like, go. No, man. Same thing with the transient detections. I have several guys that get on and do some checks for us just to back us up. Paulo Halverson, who's a gentleman that helped with our Sky Survey software, who's just been doing this for 20-plus years, has countless comet discoveries, countless asteroid discoveries under his belt. Man, I can't say enough about Paulo. What an incredible individual he is, man. And just an amazing, smart guy. He has a degree in applied mathematics or something, and just really sharp guy. He's the one that wrote SkySift that we use for our Sky Search. And so he gets on, remotes in from Brazil, and double checks all our work. We go through all the checks and balances on everything. When we get a transient detection, we check it against all the Vizier catalogs, Gaia, all the different things that we go through. We go through probably half a dozen or dozen checks on stuff just to see, all the assassin light curves, to see if something that's been detected or not before we submit. So I found this object, and we're looking at it, man. And we go to the MP checker, and it's like not listed, and blah blah blah. And it's like, this is it, man. And it's pretty good looking image, pretty sharp looking image, man. It was like, oh, this is the creme de la creme, man. Like, I found it, I submit it, and it came back as a satellite. Now, it was a satellite that apparently I found out later that didn't really have designation on it. We went to actually Bill Gray's site, and we typed in the information on it, and it didn't come up. So I emailed Bill, and he was kind of like, whoa, I know what this object is. I don't know why it's not in the catalog. So it kind of evaded us. But turns out, I believe Bill had told me it was, or we looked it up, it was a Chinese satellite that they used to communicate with the Russian satellite or something, or Chinese, that they used to communicate with their orbiter on the other side of the moon. So it's one of their communication satellites. But here's where it gets funny, is that I submitted, I immediately, 10 minutes, I get a response from Minor Planet Center. It says, this is a XSat satellite orbit thing. Okay. Well, about 2 weeks later, and N3 knows this, there's all this chatter going on out there, and I think it was Catalina. Yeah, XA1. 2020 XA1. So Catalina sees the same object, submits it. It gets put on the NEO CP page as a new target, as a NEO. They automatically put it on their page. Now, Bill Gray saw it, and I think he jumped on there, and they pulled it down quickly. But it was like, wow, man, like, we submitted that weeks before. We immediately got response. Catalina submits it. They get it as a NEO. Like, oh. Now, obviously, it got retracted, and they just were like, okay, it's definitely not a NEO. But it was one of those moments where it was like, it's a little interesting that the Sky Surveys got their stuff put out there immediately. So N3 knows all the detail on it, So Spectra RG something, yeah, I remember what it was. I do recall Paulo and I looked it up, and it was something about literally like one of the communication satellites with a either a craft or rover or something on the other side of the moon. It was part of that, which was pretty cool, you know. So wasn't a Black Knight, man. It wasn't a Black Knight satellite. I was kind of hoping it was, but wasn't that. But yeah, so that happened. But we really thought we had our first one. It's like, okay, we got our first Neo. But that's okay. So we just still keep looking. We're gonna make a lot of transient detections as we go along here, guys, and a lot of supernovas and potential dwarf novas or novas, variable stars, any of those kinds of things. We will make a lot of those as we're doing our survey, and we're covering a lot of. I mean, we've got a lot of ground we're covering as well. We got our Christmas stuff here, guys. Man, look at this. We got the holiday skin out for you guys, man, and it's for you guys. So I wanted to show you guys. Our sky coverage gets put into the. They could just go back to probably about let's say September to now. Let me just. There's us right there. We're listed in the Sky Survey. So our every day our oh, you know what? I gotta. That's what we've covered over the last just 2 months. So that's our coverage area and where we've been covering. So this is basically what you see is what we're searching. And the parameters change, every night based off of what we're looking at. So my system automatically creates the schedule. I don't do anything. We have some parameters in there we put in there, and so it creates where we're gonna search every night. And those of you that are in our Discord, you've seen we'll put the plots up there, and those are automatically generated. Yeah, the automation's unbelievable. I'm just tickled every time I hit go, and then, I actually sleep through half the survey. Like I'll kind of blink and watch it till 1 a.m. Then I go to sleep and I get up at about 5, and as the telescope's parking itself, so it's working through the night, So the automation is really nice. So yeah, this is kind of our coverage that gets submitted to the Minor Planet Center. This all happens in the background. Like in the morning, the system will automatically go out to the Minor Planet Center and say, hey, here's what we covered for the night. I don't do any of this. The computer stays on 24 hours a day. It just happens that way. So that's those are kind of the things that's been going on for us. And like I said, we've had some challenges with the weather here, guys, and it's been a pain. And I apologize that we've been so out of it. It's just the weather is really beating us up, and then my job has been crazy. I've been delivering 2 or 3 shows a week, and it's just been really a lot going on. So things are starting to finally getting a little bit of a breath here. It's been crazy for me since the beginning of COVID, which has not helped us at all. So that's kind of that. So I thought tonight, you know what? I'll probably start the survey after the stream goes, but tonight I thought, I've had some people messaging me, and I thought I'm going to do some just normal follow-up stuff with Tycho Tracker, so you guys can kind of see just doing a basic follow-up on some stuff and seeing what transpires here on kind of how to do it. I'll give you a little bit of a rundown on kind of what we do to 2002. How we do an actual follow-up on an object. I hadn't done that in a while for you guys. So let me slew to this guy. Yes, we want to slew to that target. Telescope's going to slew over here. I actually took some images of a potential target while we were in the loading screen. I ran about 15 minutes worth on an object that's moving pretty fast right now. So it was kind of up over the house, so I want to see if I can catch it before. But while that's going on, we can actually start imaging maybe this next object. It's a little bit low in the horizon. We'll sit on this for a moment just to see. So let me just see. But I want to just kind of give you guys kind of the rundown with, like I said, we've had a lot of people that have kind of asked about, hey, what do you do here? How do you do that? The Minor Planet Center, the website is a challenge. And I've been talking about this for a while. I had another talk with my web developer yesterday. We're really trying to, we're hoping to come out with the beginning of the year, guys. We have a website that we're really trying to put together, the Asteroid Hunter Science Center, and we're creating a search database that's linked to the Minor Planet Center. That's just easy for people to just kind of type in and see it, as opposed to, go to the Minor Planet Center and drop down to this and go into this menu and go into here and type these configurations and all this kind of stuff. And for people that don't know, it's very daunting. So we just wanted to create kind of an easy search for people to basically pull up kind of the basics of stuff. We have some people doing some Nightbot stuff on the Discord as well, to be able to pull up just some information on some asteroids if you're interested in just trying to find out maybe where a position of something is, what magnitude it's sitting, kind of some of the basic information that's a little bit easier to understand. There's a lot of stuff like what N3 and Sam are doing in the Discord that's really heavy duty. These guys are doing pre-coveries on things, and it's pretty heavy duty, the work they're doing. It's amazing stuff. So they shouldn't be taking long. Oh, Walford 81. I shouldn't say. You know what? Let me tell you this. Our poor our designer called me actually 3 weeks ago, a month ago, 3 weeks ago. There's an ink shortage going on. God. There's an ink shortage happening right now. So you may be fine, but just so you guys know, anybody ordering any kind of the merch, man, like, we've had some ink shortages going on because of COVID. Totally ridiculous. So I had to, they were like, hey, you want to order some stuff? Well, the problem is that for me to pre-order, they wanted me to pre-order like thousands of things, and I couldn't do it. I wasn't going to get 1,000 shirts, It's like, I can't do that. So, because what happens is everything is made to order. So you guys make an order on our website. Our designer gets it. They print the shirts off and they send it. So it gets made right when it's ordered. It's a lot, and it helps me keep the cost down for us on the site. We don't really make much of anything on the merchandise. So, but yeah. So hopefully, Warlord, I hope it comes through, man. Keep me posted on that if you haven't, and let me know if you have any issues with that. Our embroidery people are amazing, but they did tell me the other day. I'm just like, you know what, man, to top it off, like, here we go. Like a freaking ink shortage again. So, but yeah, I wanted to telling you guys, like, basically, the Minor Planet Center, I'll show you guys kind of how we kind of search for stuff that needs orbital, improvement, where they need actual observations. I'll show you that stuff right now. I'll show you how to get through it. It sucks. It's not easy. And I know there's parameters in there that you guys, that if you people know more. Look, as I've said before, we do a lot of work here, man, for sure. We don't claim to know everything at all. There's so much more stuff, deeper stuff I don't understand at all. For us, I just kind of do what I need to do to get the job done, and I leave the expert stuff into the expert hands. So there are things in here that I'm not super familiar with as far as the website and as far as some of the parameters. But I will tell you the parameters that we set that are kind of the most important, that allow you to at least be able to go and figure out what's going on. I'm going to tell you guys this. We've had a few people in our Discord, and I only have 9 or 10 people or 11 people in here, so you guys are going to hear this. But if you have interest, and we had a gentleman in there was trying to get his Minor Planet Center code. And to get your code, you have to basically take observations. And it's observations of known asteroids, and then it's observations of stuff that needs follow-up. But a lot of it's a lot of known asteroids. They just want to know that you know what you're doing. So they want you to submit data. They don't just go, oh, you got a telescope? Okay, you're in. You have to prove your worth with these guys. So, and sometimes trying to find objects is a little bit difficult. So what I've told people is that, hey, we have the sky surveys going on. Every single night, I'm literally imaging. Sometimes we're imaging, like we did one night, we did almost 1,000 in a night of known asteroids. Now, our sky survey will, if it sees a known asteroid, it images it, it's in the field, it catches it, it takes the observational measurements like we're going to do tonight. It'll do that, and then it automatically, we submit that data. So, but I get a catalog that tells me, hey, here's everything that you've looked at. So I had one gentleman going, hey, I need to get some object. Well, I sent him some of the list of what I said, hey, here's what's up right now. Like, I imaged these last night. There's like 500 of them here. Here, take some. So I'll tell you guys, if you're in the Discord, message me, man. If you want some, I'll send you some of that data. I have no problem, man. You kidding me? Our data is your data, man. We're here to share. We're here to help. We're here to inform people on how to do this stuff. So I'll tell you guys, like, message me in the Discord. I'll send you the data on some of the objects that are up. I believe, I don't think it gives the magnitude, the brightness, but it will tell the position, so you guys can see. And you can basically go into like the Minor Planet Center and type up the information and figure out kind of what the brightness is, if it's something you can capture with your telescope or not, those kind of things. So, so that's. I just want you guys to know that, those of you that are listening, we can do that for you, okay? And we're here to help you that. So, what is this one that I have? Let me just see here. What is this? What did I type in? TS67. How bright is this guy? 18. YH4. I'm gonna do some. I've already taken some images tonight already. I want to see if I can start imaging something else. I'm just looking at that telescope's pointed pretty far down into the horizon. YH4 181. This is. It's gonna be dim. Let's see. C133. Oh, good old 2012. C133. I'm trying to find some stuff that's relatively easy brightness that we can just grab quickly, like so I can show you guys stuff that's kind of in the area, in the realm that needs follow up. You know, is what I'm trying to do here. So, where's XE133 18.1? Let me see where this guy is. Oh yeah, see it's low too. It's sitting out off that edge right there. Well, we'll try to image TS67 and see what happens. I'll take some 60-second exposures. I don't know what the speed of that object is. Let me see here. TS67, where are you? $2,000. There we go. So we're slewed. Okay. So yeah, so I'm gonna start imaging this asteroid 2002 TS67. I'm using SkyX. A lot of guys use Stellarium. Stellarium will do that. We actually started with Stellarium. I think it's free, if I recall. It's totally free. You can download the Minor Planet Center database on Stellarium. The big thing is to make sure you download the actual database from the Minor Planet Center. Anybody that's in SkyX, we have this input solar system bodies here thing, and basically if you go to the click this MPC link. Ah, shoot, this isn't. Come on. There we go. This MPC link. So you see this McCorb. You want to grab the .gz one, which is a zip file, and just download it. Okay, and it's only like 5 meg. Or what is it? No, it's 50. I'm sorry, it's 50. What is this? 54 megs or something? What is the archive? No, how big is it? I forget. I'm sorry. This is zipped. What is it unzipped? It's 200 megs. It's not big. It's just a data file. So you download that, you unzip it, and then basically you just point this file name to it and hit import, and it's going to import over 1 million asteroids into your database. So same thing with Stellarium. Like you can go to the solar system editor or something in there and then go into there with and download the database. You have to make sure you database is the most important thing. When you download it, so you can, it makes it easy. You can type in, like in your Finder, what the object's name is, and it'll go to it. So, like, I downloaded a database, and right now I want to look at 2002 TS67. I just type it into my Finder there, hit find, and it says, oh, it's right here. It tells me right where it's at. I slew the telescope, done. You can put in coordinates by hand if you want to, but I'm like, why? The only time I'm putting coordinates in by hand is if I have an actual something from the Neo CP. Anything from the Neo CP that's brand new coming off the sky surveys that doesn't have an actual designation yet is not going to be in this catalog. So it's not, you're not going to see that. You would have to physically put in those RA and deck numbers physically if you're trying to do any kind of follow-up off of the sky surveys. So this one, these are all cataloged objects, so they're in the catalog. So you can just do that, slew right to it. So let's let me set my camera up here real quick, so I can have this. This is 2002. A-Key, the Tier 1. Thanks, brother. Good to see you, man. How are you? TS67. Let's apply that. Set my path here. TS67. Let's do some 60s on this one. Just because we're sitting here on the... We're sitting here kind of low. What is the... Let me check the speed of this object here real quick. Yeah, it's only 1.0, so it's not moving too fast. So we'll just do... Let's do about 30 minutes worth here. Okay, we're going to hit OK. And let me start that right now. See. That should start imaging. Okay. Well, that's imaging. I'm going to close this real quick. So we're just starting to image. I'm just going to do basically 60-second exposures on that object right now, and we'll do about 30 minutes worth. So I just want to go into Tycho Tracker with what I've captured already and show you guys kind of Tycho Tracker. Tonight I was just going to kind of show you guys how to do some stuff. Do you believe Bob Lazar? I tell you, man, I saw that video the other day, the Netflix thing. I was loving it. I love that stuff. It's so cool. Very cool. So yeah, I want to just show you guys some of the Tycho stuff. We'll if we gather decent data tonight, we'll send the observations to the Minor Planet Center, so we can see that we have. So I've essentially collected some data here. Let me see. Where do I have this? Where do I have my data? I got so many things going on here. So here's our, let me get rid of these. These are our exposures right here. I only took about 20 of them. These are all 30-second exposures. Our object's moving pretty fast. Right now, this one that we're looking at, 14 point something degrees per minute. Arc seconds per minute, 14.18 arc seconds per minute. It's moving about 1.5 degrees per day. It's moving pretty good. Pretty decent speed on this object. 2014 SD224 is, here it is right here. So, yeah, so let me just, I'll show you guys how to do the Minor Planet Center stuff, but let's do the actual, let's get Tycho moving. And while Tycho is actually chunking away, then I'll show you guys the Minor Planet Center. We'll be efficient one. We'll do multiple things here for you guys, so you guys can see. So we'll get Tycho chugging away on some stuff, and then I'll show you guys how to pull up the Minor Planet Center database and search for these objects on this stuff. So so let me launch Tycho here. Again, with Tycho, $50 for the software, guys. You should just, you know, if you're anybody that's doing this work has got probably tons of money in their telescopes, don't skimp on the software. It's extremely cheap. This software is so powerful. You can discover asteroids with this software. This software, you could just make discoveries with this. Yes, we have a fully automated system that's, you know, 100 times more expensive than this. But I'm telling you right now, for $50, you can do some of the same work. You can do some of these things. So this will actually, you know, take your fields and do full searches on it if you want to. So it is extremely powerful for what it does. We've used Astrometrica. Astrometrica does work great. That's a great tool as well. The problem that we have is our cameras now that we're running, our full frame cameras, the file sizes are too big. Astrometrica cannot handle it. And it's just not that great. So Aladdin's still good, N3. Don't worry about it. We use that all the time for our transient follow-ups. So, so on Tycho, the first thing you want to do right up here in the settings is you want to remember that database you downloaded for your the McPorb database. You want to do the same thing and then point it to it, and then that's the database, so it's going to pull that database in there. Super important that you do that, and make sure that that is the case. Okay, I don't mess with any of this other stuff. You just let that be its normal settings. Okay. So the only other thing about with this is, and a lot of you guys have this, is the calibration of stuff or some of the alignment. So there is a little bit more involved with it as far as, you spend $50 in software, the stuff you do. It does utilize other software. You can do the internal stuff, which I actually have not used before. But I'll show you that here in a second. So essentially I'm going to point this to, oops, wrong drive. I'm going to point this to those images that we just took, those 20 images. I'm going to load them in here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a express mode. So what this does is this is going to calibrate the images, and it's going to align them, and then it's going to do a plate solve. Now, when it calibrates, I can go into each one of these settings. Listen, we just use the pseudo flat feature in this. Okay, I don't actually apply any dark frames. You can if you want. I'm not going to pull you away from that. It's totally fine. Not going to hurt you at all. But the pseudo flat works just great. Never had any problems with it. Works extremely well. Paulo and I've he's actually the one that was like, wow, like the pseudo flat looks amazing coming out of there. So we just use it. All I do is the default setting on it, and that's all I do. So all I'm doing with these exposures is I'm adding a flat field to it, and that's it. I'm not doing any kind of bias or dark subtraction. Now, in our sky survey that we do full calibration. We do flat field, and we do dark and bias calibration frames. So we're utilizing that. So built-in alignment tool works great. So then there you go. So if you have a built-in, because you can utilize that. So we don't resize anything. I just leave it set. I just uncheck that box. In the alignment software, we have Registar. It was like $170. So I bought Registar, but if you own PixInsight, it'll utilize PixInsight. It'll go out to PixInsight. It'll align the images and utilize that software. A lot of people have PixInsight. If you don't, use the internal. Then it doesn't cost you anything, and it's fine. Tismo says it works great, so there you go. It works great. So, and like I said, I'm not surprised. Daniel Parrott, who wrote this software, he has a Binary Planet Center code. He's an observer just like us, and knows what it takes to get this work done. He does phenomenal work, and he wrote the software, and it's awesome. So it's done by a real guy. It's not a guy that doesn't do any of this work. The guy that wrote this does the work. So, and then the plate solve, we have a database that we downloaded, and if you go to YouTube and type in Tycho Tracker, Daniel Parrott has a whole bunch of tutorial videos. I highly suggest you guys watch them. I've told people this before. I highly suggest you watch the videos, check them out, go through them. That's what I did. I had to do that so I could learn. I'm not really a big fumble through guy. I kind of like to be told what to do, so somebody just tell me and then I'll do it and I'm done. So he teaches you how to download the database so the database is internal on your drive and all those kind of things. So once you have that set, basically these boxes are checked. You just hit start, and what it's going to do is it's going to apply the flat field, and then it's going to go through and it's going to align the images, and then it's going to plate solve it based off of the catalogs download. Now, hopefully it works. I haven't ran Tycho in months. First time I've ran this software in a while. So maybe it'll work, maybe it'll fail. I don't know. It already did flat field, so now it's going into Registar and it's aligning the images, stacking them on top. Okay. The other thing that's nice about Tycho is it utilizes, if you have a high-end graphics card in your computer, it will utilize that power, which is totally awesome. A lot of software doesn't do that, and it does, which is really nice, being able to use a GPU. We have a 2080 Super card in there, so it's utilizing that power, which is fantastic. So that helps tremendously. So I'm just sitting back and let this thing do this, okay? And once it's done stacking the 20 images, then it's going to go through and do an actual plate solve. And hopefully it works. Hopefully. We'll see. And when it plate solves, what it does is it'll create a new set of files. What's nice is it doesn't mess with the original files. So you have a folder that it's creating a folder for calibration, and then it creates a folder on your of all the calibration stuff. So it does all those things automatically for you. So it's plate solving right now. It just passed first verification. So it creates those folders automatically for you, so it doesn't mess with the original ones. So if you have a problem, you can always go back to your original ones, which is really nice. Oh, Jerry has a presentation on how to obtain a code, so that's good. So here you go. They got output located. So it like it says, it shows this CA folder. So it created its own new folder basically on this. So if you see, here's our original folder. If I back up now, you see how there's a CA folder. So these are all the calibrated exposures that are in here. Okay, so we just go ahead and select those out, and then what we do is we run our synthetic tracker. So the synthetic tracker is basically going to go through and it's going to start looking for motion. It's going to start trying to see what objects in there. It's going to pull stuff from the database, and it'll automatically start doing that in the back. As you hit go, it'll do that. Start doing those things. So essentially, I just do a lot of the auto features that are on this. This is kind of the star mass subtraction. So if you have a field that has a lot of stars, and it'll subtract them out of, as many of you know that if you've seen our sky survey that we do, SkySift will do same very similar thing, image subtraction, where if you have a lot of stars in the field, it stacks the images up and then it subtracts those stars out, and it's looking for motion within there. So you've seen some of my blinks in there where it's like, hey, there's no stars in the image. It's like, well, they've been subtracted out, and it's just looking for the motion. So that's what this is kind of the setting, the threshold. That all I do is hit auto on that. That's all you do, man. You hit auto. You can mess with adjustments on them, but Daniel's flat said, like, hey, man, the auto threshold tends to work the best. You just hit OK. Your sensitivity, again, 50%. I don't mess with this. I let this sit there, and that's it. Okay, so it's telling me my search constraints. So here's where you get to actually, if you're looking for a particular object, you get to put in some of these parameters, so it'll actually define what you're looking for. As far as if you have an object that's moving at a certain speed, you can put in the parameter in there to allow it to only look for motion within that speed or that position angle or those kinds of ranges. You see this checkbox right here where you can have, hey, this limit speed range. Right now, it would only search for anything that's running between 0.90 and 1.50 arc seconds per minute. I can uncheck that box. Here's where I said you guys can search for stuff if you want to. You can uncheck this box, hit OK, and it'll just do a full search on there. It'll take a while. If you have a lot of images that are in there, it could take a little while to run, but it will process through, and then you can go through and actually search every one of those findings to see if it's a new object or if it's a known object or what it is. We are specifically looking for an object, so we're going to actually put in an actual range. And you guys can see here's where this is the object we're looking at, 2014 SD224. This is the actual motion of it, position angle. So I'm going to just put in these parameters. It's 14.18. So I'm gonna just do a search from about 14.0 to 15.7. Let's just go to 15.2 or 15.0. Let's just go 15.0. See what happens there, and maybe we'll go 2, and we're just gonna hit OK and just see if it'll actually search. Now we hit OK, and now it's gonna start go through and tracking and looking for that. I didn't put a position angle there. I could have, but we're just gonna do this and see what it finds. See if it actually finds something here, and it may not. Sometimes it doesn't work, and that's just how it goes. So we'll see. We'll let it chunk away. So it's going to look in there for actual anything moving within those parameters. So while that's chugging away, we'll just let that chug away a little bit, because it's going to probably run for about 5 or 10 minutes here, maybe less. We'll see. But I want to show you guys kind of the Minor Planet Center parameters that we do to kind of search through some of this database. And I'll show you guys some of this stuff. So basically, you want to figure out like, okay, what objects need follow up. Now I know there's many, and I'm not telling you guys this is the only end all be all. Jerry's in here. He may have other ways if he does stuff too. This is kind of what we've done that works for us. There's a lot of ways to get in through this, and so it's helpful for you to be able to kind of dig through this. I'll show you guys kind of what we do, and then you can kind of mess around with this and figure out other ways to it as well. So essentially, just go to the minorplanetcenter.net website here, and you have all these wonderful drop-down menus that are very difficult to understand. If you have no experience with this, it's kind of like, what am I looking at half the time? So essentially, there's the NEO confirmation page, which is all the NEO CPs. Remember, we talked about stuff coming in off the sky surveys. This is all the new finds that have happened over the last few days that are up there. Sometimes they're up there a little bit longer than that. Stuff that hasn't been given a designation yet. These are all the new objects that are out there. That's the NEO confirmation page. So, but right now, what we want to do is I want to show you guys. Okay, I want to kind of get an idea of what needs orbital improvement, what needs observations that's kind of above in my area right now. That's kind of above me based on my range of what my telescope can do, and kind of my range of where I'm at. So you essentially go to this observer thing, you do the NEO services drop down, and you see this observational planning aid. So that's where we're going to click. We're going to go into this, okay? And we click down on that, and it's going to give the observation planning aid that's here. So these are all the parameters that you can put in here. Now I'm only going to change a few of these. A lot of them we just leave them be. You can mess around with some of these things. It's totally fine. It's up to you, whatever you want to do. There are stuff in here I don't know too much about, but it doesn't really affect me too much, so I don't. This is all we mess with is this planning aid. And basically what I have tonight, this list that I have tonight came from me doing exactly this, is producing this list. So we have today's date, December 21st. It's in here. And I basically go through and I start messing with some of these ranges. Our RA range, we want to go from 0 to 120 degrees based on our RA. We're just kind of opening some things up here. Our deck range, we only can see about down to negative 25. Anything we start getting below that, negative 20, we start hitting the wall of the observatory. So I kind of 25 is about the average of where I put stuff. So if you don't have an observatory and you can go farther, set your parameters farther. I just leave that at plus 90. It's fine by me. If there is stuff off to the west that we have a lot of trees and stuff I can't see, I already know that. If I see something and I go to search it and it's there, it's like I already know I can't look at it, but I still want to see it in my list here. So I just set these parameters for the magnitude range. We can get we're at Bortle 5 skies, Bortle 4 with a RAS of 14. We've had nights where on our sky survey where we're getting 30-second exposures. We've gotten up to 19 magnitude, 19.2 with our 30-second exposure. On average, 30-second exposure on our sky survey. And again, we're just taking, we're not doing a bunch of stacking. We're just taking 3 images of a field, stacking them together. So they're single images. We're about 18.5 to 18.7 on there. So I just set it for 19 because I know there's stuff in the 18 range we're going to be able to find. So I'll set that thing for 19, and then basically I open up this motion range, 222 degrees per day. Just open it up. We're just kind of opening up the speed of stuff. We don't want to be limited on things. Obviously, there's a lot of objects now that have been discovered over the last X amount of years that are faster movers. Some of the things that we do for our sky survey, we're looking for faster movers based off of kind of our cadence on things, on how we image and do some of the stuff we do. So I just do that, set that at 222. The uncertainty, just bring that down to 0 to 1800. Again, we're just opening some things up just to be able to kind of see what's going on. I don't tend to look at any objects that have not been seen in more than a day. If they are more than a day, sometimes they tend to be lost. And then our wonderful N3 and Sam Dean that's when they come in, and they start to go and try to find stuff that's been lost and see where things are at. So hang on one second. So yeah, that's one day. Anything beyond that stuff tends to be lost. But we're not worried about that. We just want to set that for that parameter. I just go down here and I set the sorting from uncertainty. Again, stuff that's most uncertain down to what is more certain and decrease in order. I produce the list. Here's one thing I wish the Minor Planet Center would put in here. I wish they'd put a select all. You have to go through and physically check all these boxes all the way through. And you check all these boxes all the way down to the bottom here, and you hit get ephemeris. Okay? And these are basically the list of all the objects, but this is essentially what the list comes up with. It'll come up with this stuff. It's going to give stuff at the top that doesn't maybe have any... again, we went from uncertainty from the top down, right? So from the most uncertain down. So these objects kind of at the top can have more uncertainty than others based on the amount of observations they have. Now, some of these have been sitting here for a little bit, so they may have enough observations where it's like, okay, there's observations being done on these. We don't necessarily need more, but so it'll kind of tell you what's going on here based on that. But you can see what I look at is I'll see stuff where I'm looking at the V because I want to see what the magnitude is right off the bat of some of these things just to see. You see there's no magnitude here. Well, this is probably an object that is very dim and just doesn't have magnitude reading yet. So I'm not concerned about that stuff. I just kind of move because what I'm really looking at is you see where this thing says further observations. We're looking for what's useful, where it says useful for orbital improvement. Or useful for numbering, those kind of things. So you scroll down here and you say, okay, well, this one right here, this 2017 says it's useful for orbital improvement. So this means that this object needs actual observations on it. They want to get some more data on this stuff. So so you go through and you kind of start to pick and choose. Okay, this one needs it, Well, so I'll look at it and be like, okay, what's the magnitude? Oh, it's 18.3. What's its position right now? Well, it's at this position. Oh, that means that position is 2 o'clock in the morning. Or that position is, it just is in the west right when the sun's going down. Or, you gotta, the more time you spend looking at the sky, Jared probably tell you this the same thing. Like, as you do this more, you get to know where your RA and deck limits are and where your limits are and what you can do and what you cannot achieve based off of positions just by looking at those numbers right now. You start really getting to know the sky, knowing where things are at any given time, and you get an idea. Sam Dean, who's our our right hand, he messages me all the time. Hey man, there's a comet we need to do a follow up on, and I'll be like, okay, and he'll give me the RA, and I'll be like, Sam, that's at like 3:30 in the morning, man. Like I'm old, man. Like I'm old. I gotta sleep, man. I'm a father of like 2, and I gotta sleep. And he laughs, It's like you got to and he's like, oh yeah, I guess it is at 3:30 in the morning. So and it's fine. I mean, that's part of doing this work, and being in astronomy and understanding those things. So yeah, that's you start to go through and you just kind of pick and choose, like based off of your magnitude, your RA, your deck, where it's how high it is in the sky, where the position is of it, all those kinds of things, and say, okay, these are the objects I'm going to try to go for tonight. And you might make a list of 5 or 10 or those kinds of things, and see. And that's essentially it. You basically go through and try to figure out this. If you guys follow these parameters that I gave you, it's real easy to kind of pull up that observational planning aid. And again, I'll just kind of show you guys again. It's this observers, this NEO services observational planning aid. And you go here to your RA deck range, and you just kind of fill out some of these ranges. These are our ranges. Now we have a 24-inch plane wave in Abu Dhabi that we're part of research team. I recently got there, helped them get their code. I worked with Nazar out there, and we got the code for them. But I actually used the same parameters for him as I did for me, just so I could get an idea of just kind of what was in the area. And I did this, and then I would spit at him and tell him, hey, here's what I'm seeing, and we would kind of go through and figure out, okay, this object's going to be here, this one's going to be here. This was before we started our sky survey. With our sky survey, it's a lot easier now because I have the list that gets produced at the end of the night. That's up to like, depending on how many asteroids we've observed, could be 1,000 or something crazy. So, but yeah, if you basically, you want to change your RA, you want to change your deck, know your deck, like Jerry says in there, know your your deck, know your horizon, know those kinds of things, you know, where you're at. So your magnitude range, motion range, I open it up. Anything beyond more than 1 day, we want to, you guys get in our Discord. You'll see Sam and N3 pulling up sky surveys looking for lost objects. They've been finding some Jupiter moons lately too as well, just doing amazing work. Shout out to my boys out there. And then uncertainty, decreasing order, produce the list. You hit produce the list, and it's going to give you all the, unfortunately, you got to check all these boxes, which I wish, I got to contact Peter, man, at the Minor Planet Center and say, Peter, I need you to put a select all right here. Can you just like give me a select all? Can you select, could that be my Christmas gift? Select all right there. You know, I'd like that. I like that. N3, we need a select all button right here. That's what we need here, buddy, right here. And then you produce your list, and you just kind of go through and kind of see what's feasible, what's not. Now, you're going to find stuff based off your telescope, what the capabilities are of your mount. There's all kinds of various things here, man, because you could have limitations with your magnitude based on where your sky is. You could have limitations based on the speed of this object that you're looking at. I mean, you know, you got an object that's moving at 30 arc seconds per minute. It may be much more difficult to grab because you need to do shorter exposures on it because it's moving faster. And if I do shorter exposures, it's at 18.5 magnitude. If I do a 15-second exposure, I can't capture 18 magnitude. But I can only do a 15-second exposure because it's moving at 50 arc seconds per minute. So there are some checks and balances within there to know. If you're starting out, go look at some of those main belters. A lot of the main belt asteroids, you know, position angle 200-ish, they're running at like 0.22, less than a degree per day, less than a half a degree per day. It's pretty average for the majority of the main belt asteroids that are out there. We captured tons of them through our searches that happen because we're looking in certain areas. Right now, the ecliptic's kind of pretty much over our heads. So a lot of areas we're looking at the ecliptics right there, and that's where a lot of the main belters are sitting. So you can look at those. They're a lot easier to capture, man. You can take like 60-second exposure on them, a minute, 2 minutes if you want to, based on whatever your mount is, your capabilities, and not have any trailing because they're moving so slow. So there's a lot of variances in this stuff that you have to kind of be aware of, and it just takes time. It takes time learning and understanding of, okay, you know, this is what the capabilities of the instrument that I have will do. You know, I'm limited to this magnitude, which means I'm going to really be limited, you know, based off of this speed of asteroid, because if something's faster than this, I have to take a short exposure to get it so I don't trail, and I can't capture it at that magnitude. And you just start to learn some of those parameters that you see and what you can do. So we're very fortunate. We're at Bortle 5, but we're kind of on the edge of 5. Like right here where I'm looking, this is east, north, this is south, and this is west behind me, right? So to the south, I'm 40 miles north of Los Angeles. Bortle 5. I have kind of a little bit of the sky glow from LA, but it's still Bortle 5. Okay, to the north, right here, if I point over the house, Bortle 4. I'm kind of on the edge. So that's why I'm able to get away with higher magnitude. Now we have a Raza 14, which is a world-class instrument, and I have a 6200 ZWO camera on there, and it's on a Paramount MX Plus. So the tracking's great, and it's you know, we're very capable. We didn't start there, of course. As many of you know, we started with our humble 8-inch edge right here with our Hyperstar on our CGX mount that's still sitting here next to me. So we started there, and then of course, you know, it went into this craziness that we have here today. Here, guys, look at this. This is like ridiculous. What has happened? What has happened here? Merry Christmas to everybody. Everybody's doing well out there. So, yeah, I have a small nuclear power plant in my garden. You know, people ask me all the time. Some of you guys have seen our walkthrough video of our observatory, which is insane, right? We have solar in the house, which helps offset a lot of the costs, but we actually do pretty well. Not all of this stuff is running 24 hours a day. I tell people this. Like, we have all these systems in place, science computers and stuff going on. They're not all running 24 hours a day. So, you know, it's not always like that, you know. So use elliptical aperture and do long exposure. That's probably true. You can, Jerry. I have not messed with that, but you probably can. Absolutely. there's a lot of variants you can do, I would assume, to get those longer exposures on that. So I haven't messed with that. You know, our main focus here is what we do is we're searching for NEOs with our sky survey, as you guys have seen. That's our big thing. We are full on sky survey here, right out of our backyard that my son and I started, which is insane. And through that we do capture and we do some follow up here stuff. But our big thing is just the searching. So we are in the midst of potentially putting together another system remotely that's going to do follow-up only. I'd be interested in messing with some of that stuff that you're talking about, Jerry. That'd be interesting. So, but I wanted to switch back over here to you guys so you guys could see. So Tycho just kind of did its thing and start tracking along. And here's our asteroid right there, flying along. Okay, and I can. What's neat about Tycho is, so these are the 20 exposures, and these are just 30-second exposures. You see how sharp our images are. They look real clean throughout here. And there it is, man. That's Asteroid. What's the name of that thing again? 2014 SD22 is it as well. So what's nice about Tycho is that you can stack images in here. Really easy. So you have your 19 image. If you just hold your shift key down and select, you can stack all these images together and get a real solid view on stuff if you want. So if I had like 50 exposures in here, I could stack this sucker if I wanted to, and you could see it clean as day. So that's a really good clean image of that object right there, as well. It's going on there. So let me just see something here. Let me just check something here real quick. Yeah. So I load the database and it didn't come up in there. It could be because it's not showing a database, so that's okay. We're going to give it its actual designation. But you can see it's showing, you know, the speed is 14.95. It gives you the calculated speed. It gives you the position angle. If we look at our speed on our object, our position angle's, you know, like basically at 315 at 14. So this should be our object. Same position angle, same speed basically, what we're looking at. So Tycho just pulls it right out and does it for you as well. The other thing is, as you can see, this navigator that's here, basically, it tells you each one of these numerical values is telling you a possible motion that it's detected. And so within each one of these values, you still have your 20 exposures that are linked to it. Okay, so if I click into this object, this actual find right here, then I would go up to these positions, which is our objects, and I'm just using the arrow keys to arrow down, and you can look at each one of these as a possible find. So I click to the next one and I go, oh, did it see something? Let me go through it, and you start searching through these to see what it may have found. You know, so each one of these numerical positions in this navigator are potential motions that it's detected within the field, and then you just go through each one of them and check your 20 exposures against each one, if that makes sense. So click through that, check the exposure. No. And it's just like our sky survey software does the same thing. It's got these algorithms in there. It's just looking for motion within the actual image itself, and it'll grab pixel noise and all kinds of variant stuff. There, thinking through. So you could just kind of go through here and say, oh, now remember, we have it limited to be looking at only 14 to 15 arc seconds per minute. Okay, so it's only going to show that motion. If you open this thing up, remember, if you uncheck that box, and let you go. Good luck. We're all counting on you. I know, right? Appreciate that, man. Thanks, Hardscape. If you uncheck that box, it'll show you. It'll open it up and it'll show you motion ranges and position angles of all kinds of stuff it finds, and it could find all kinds of various asteroids. There could be other asteroids within our image here as well. Based on our position in the sky, we're kind of north of the ecliptic quite a bit. Probably wouldn't be too much out there. It's a little bit of a desert out there, so chances are there may not be. But again, you can uncheck that box and then just say, hey, I want you to search, and just keep searching through all these kinds of things, and just say, hey, I want you to search and see if there's something else out there. So we said, okay, well, this is the object we're looking for, 2014 SD22, that we're pretty sure this is what it is. So then we go through here to our navigator, and we're going to optimize the track. We're going to verify the track. We load the star catalog. Okay, we're going to load the star catalog. So we go to File, and we load star catalog. Hopefully it loads. I haven't used Tycho in a while here, guys, so it loaded. And then we right-click this, we verify the track, and it gives us three observations. Okay, right there. Those are 3 positions that it grabbed out of the 20 exposures that we have here, and that's what it's showing right now. Okay, so screenshot that. So you can see it says right here, number to generate 3 observations. You can do 2 observations. You can do 1 observation. You can do anything you want. You can increase your stack. Say you have 100 images of this thing, and it's a dimmer object, and you want your stacks to be a little bit higher. You can increase your stacks on there, if you want. Oh, it does it on the fly. I haven't downloaded the latest version, TDO, so good to know. So you can increase those stacks if you want, those kind of things, but just basically have it set for 3. 2 stacks is fine. For this object, obviously 16 magnitude. I mean, this is very easy for our 14 Raza to grab. 30-second exposure, pretty easy. If you're looking at something a little bit more faint, maybe a little bit more difficult, you might want to stack some stuff up depending on what you want to do. So we just essentially click these observations. We want to put this ID as let's see if this comes through here for me. What are you doing? What's the 501647? Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. All right, I want to double check that that's going to work before I did that real quick. The designation, as you guys can see, is the numbering is 501647. That was the numbering, so I just put that in there as the actual ID that it needed. Normally when you loaded the MPC catalog, it'll come up with the ID automatically. It wasn't showing it on this one for some reason. I don't know. Again, it could be my catalog's not loading correctly. I'm not too worried about it, so no big deal. But yeah, I just put in that 506147 and it automatically goes, okay, we're going to link that to 2014 SD224. What's nice about what's the greatest part about Tycho that I think is that you can automatically check your observations against other observations of your object just to see how good your observations are. This is the one thing that was always challenging with Astrometrica, because I was using a beta version that Herbert had given me that basically would create this ADS file which we're going to create for this ADS file. The problem is that, and I've talked to Bill Gray about this, is that, taking your ADS file and then putting it against other observations in FindOrb, they don't talk to each other very well. There's a whole history, and Jerry knows all this. There's a whole history of a lot of politics on some of the way they were going to do this was it the 1992 code the way the code was versus this new ADS format. They wanted to create this format that everybody would use. The MPC did. It was like, we're going to do this ADS thing and everybody's going to use it. And they I don't know all the politics behind it, but essentially they were talking about this years ago, and then it didn't really stick. So you've got a handful of people that do kind of the old 80 column format, and then a handful of people that do, the ADS report format. So Tycho does both. It doesn't care, So this is the problem is that Astrometrica, if you had an earlier version, it did the 1992 style reporting, which you could just take your observations, copy and paste them into Find Orb and check your observations and go about your way. But if you created an ADS report, then it was like, okay, how do I check those? So then it became a thing. And we had ways that we did getting around those things, and it wasn't frustrating, but it was frustrating. But when I checked out Tycho for the first time, I was like, yes, thank you, Daniel. Like all I got to do is right click my observations and check with my residuals with existing observations. So all you do is right click your observations, click, and it's going to pull up Find Orb from our beautiful friend Bill Gray. Thank you, Bill. And you just kind of scroll down and go, okay, how do our observations look and compared to everybody else's? And here's our 3 observations. And we can look at what we're concerned about is our error, our residual, which is our error. And we're mainly concerned about these numbers on the right side here. These stacks of numbers that are in here. Okay. The Minor Planet Center will accept anything below a 2.0. But I can tell you right now, if you want your observations to be good and accepted, they need to be under a 1.0. And if you want them to be really taken seriously, they need to be under a 0.5 minimum. Now, we submit stuff above that at times. There's no question. If that's what it is, that's what it is. There are all kinds of variances that can cause your residuals to be high. I get this question all the time. Like, what makes your residuals high? You could have bad seeing. You could have bad tracking. Pretty good, right, N3? You could have all kinds of variant stuff that could cause that number to be high. You could have a cloud that goes over one of your observations, and you don't quite see it in your imagery, but the way it's looking at the pixels, it's like, no, it's not that. So there's a lot of variances that can cause your residuals to potentially be high. Once you kind of get your mount dialed in, you get stuff dialed in, you kind of get an idea of what your tolerances are for your telescope and all those kinds of things. You kind of get an idea what it is. The danger of tighter tolerance that you need to detect some change in orbit. Well, and that's the thing. So here's the other thing with this object. This object's moving pretty fast. Okay, so you get an object's moving pretty fast. You can take kind of set of exposures. You're going to get some good observations of it based off of its orbit because it's moving pretty fast. You have 3 positions. Say it's moving, from this point to this point. It's going from here to here in about 5 minutes time. It's moving from here to here, and you take an observations here, and you take an observations here, and taking observations here. Now you have this arc, right? Okay, so you have your actual error in there, and you have your arc. You get an understanding. Now, the arc is based off of kind of where those positions are. If you have a longer observation time, so say you're looking at this thing say you look at it for like an hour right now, and you take some observations, then you wait an hour and you come back to it and you take observations of it an hour later, and then you wait a while and you come back and take observations an hour later. Now you have observation here. You have one down here like an hour or 2 later. You have one down here now 3 hours later. Now you can get much more of an idea of what its orbit is because you have greater distances. There's been greater distances traveled of the object in between those exposures. We can get into trouble when we're doing slower objects. Okay, so say this object, I took these 20 minutes worth of exposures. This object's moving really slow. It's moving less than a degree per day. It's moving, it's like a main belter. It's moving 0.22. Okay, well, 20 minutes worth of exposures is only going to show this much motion on it, this much distance. It's not going to show all this big distance. So you might have really good, like, hey, I got good 3 observations. My residuals look good. Yeah, but you're not really helping with the orbital, the orbit of this thing, because we need to get more observations of it over a certain period of time. Okay, starting to understand the arc. So that's why it's important for you to understand you start looking at what your motion of these objects are, and start kind of going what's called this cadence ideas, where you go, okay, well, I'm looking at something that's maybe a little bit slower. I'm going to take observations of it in this hour, and I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait for another hour, and I'm going to come back to it. And then I'm going to wait for another hour or something, and I'm going to come back to it again. And I'll get positions in there where I have some spacing. It's all about spacing. Then you can kind of see, okay, this is actually, there's some spacing in there. You can kind of see what the orbit is based on the distances traveled. Obviously, the more observations we get over a certain amount of time, like what's happened is good. Hour between observations is good. Absolutely is good. You can have that rule if you want to, whatever you guys want to do. But just know that, because sometimes you may, I've had I've seen situations where somebody does, like, if this object is also, I would submit this, and these observations will get put in. But based on this object's moving pretty decently fast. If it was moving slower, then I would probably only put like one observation in, like one. I wouldn't put all three, because I'm not helping the orbit at all. I'm gonna let somebody else put in some observations later or something else. So so fast movers are tougher. Absolutely they are. They can be really difficult to track. So and they're especially for us when we're doing a survey and we're looking and we track it, we get a fast mover. It's really difficult to follow up on these things, man, because remember, with this object, 2014 SD224, let me see how many observations are on this thing right now. I don't even know. 2014. Okay, there's 200 observations on this object, so, which isn't a lot. I mean, a lot of objects that have been around for a while, you start getting thousands of observations on them. It's quite a few, though. I mean, it's definitely for them to be able. We really kind of starting to really have an understanding of the orbit. 200 observations, quite a few, so it's good. But yeah, when you have situations where you have a fast mover, and you're the first one to catch it, it's going to have no observations on it. So you have no idea, coming back to it. It's like if I'm blinking through those images and I see something, it's like, this thing's moving. I gotta get back to it. Now, fortunately, we have a RASA 14. Our field of view is pretty wide, so chances of it getting out of our field are, as long as I'm on it, it's slimmer. This is stuff that we talk about. Paulo and I talk about a lot as far as our strategy, because like Sonair, our friends in Sonair, Jacques down there in Sonair, they have a RASA 11, same mount, Paramount, MX Plus, RASA 11. They have the exact same. We're one of the only other guys using SkySift. They're using SkySift, friends of Paulo's. What they do is they have a very, they're specifically going after fast movers. So what they'll do is they'll do a 30-second exposure of field, and they come back to it 5 minutes later. They're only waiting like 3 to 5 minutes in between each field, and they come back to it and they move on. Now they cover a lot of sky, but they're really specifically looking for fast movers because they have such a short cadence in between. Like, to only have 3 to 5 minutes in between, it's like, oh my gosh, if you have a slow mover within there, you never see its motion with 5 minutes in between. It would be very difficult to see some of the slower movers, but they don't care about that. They're only looking for fast motion objects, and they catch them. They capture them, man. Jacques has got a handful. He's got a bunch of discoveries down there. Those guys do amazing work. But that's what they're doing, is that they're specifically looking. So remember what I've talked about, like knowing kind of the tolerances and knowing, like, okay, this is what I'm going to go after, this one I'm not. Oh, that's going to be way too fast based on my exposure times. That's going to be this and that, those kind of things. What we do in our sky survey is we kind of have a middle ground. We're doing about 20 minutes in between our fields. So where we're at, about 20 minutes in between. So we can find some of the slower objects, but we can also track some of the faster ones. Can we track as fast ones as Sonair? No. But chances are, if there's something that we could probably see it, but it potentially could it would be hard for us to get potentially. But we have a little bit middle of the ground strategy. Now, part of that is that when you're thinking about this stuff, and I'm going into a lot of deep detail tonight. I hope you guys aren't falling asleep here, man. We don't normally go into so much detail tonight, but I thought I'd do it, man. What the heck? Is you know, I have a full-time job. This ain't my full-time job. This is my son and I put this together. My 16-year-old son and I did this. Like this is like our fun hobby thing, right? Now it's developed into a big, massive thing, and we do a lot of science, and we've got a lot of data, and now we're trying to make our name for ourselves and try to prove that we somewhat know what we're doing. But I still have to sleep at night, man, because I have a full-time job. If I'm trying to track fast asteroids, I better be, when you're blinking through those images and you find one, you better be on it, man. Now, Sonair has like 3 people working for him. Jacques has a guy, they have a guy that works 2 nights, and then they have a guy that works the next 2 nights, a guy that works the next 2 nights. A lot of the sky surveys all have that. They have a team of people. So you don't have one guy covering like every night. Right now it's just me, my son. Now I've talked about on the stream getting some people involved. We absolutely want to do that going into the new year. I'd love to get some people doing some blinking, but essentially we kind of have a middle of the ground is what we're trying to do. So I can sleep for a few hours while the telescope runs. And if I wake up the next day and find something, chances are I'll recover it, based off of our field of view. I'll be able to slew back the next day. Now we are fortunate because we have the 24-inch plane wave in Abu Dhabi. I ain't gonna lie, we cheat a little bit because I have the 24, and we're part of a research team out there, and I have control of that telescope. So if I find something the next morning when I'm drinking my coffee and I go, oh, there's something, I can just get on that telescope because it's at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's like 10 o'clock at night there. So I can do a follow up on that telescope right now. So I do have an advantage in that, whereas most don't. But these are all things that you have to, like Jerry's saying here and there, it's like, given distance between observations based on your instrument residuals. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of variances that you start to learn as you go through this, and you figure out and you understand what your limitations are, what you are not, what you can do based off of where your location is, based off your seeing, based off of your mount, based off of, I mean, you guys have seen us progress, man. We had oh my gosh, we started with a 8-inch. We went to an 11 edge. We got our minor planet center code through that. We had a CG Pro. CG Pro is a great mount. Worked great until I started doing the sky survey. Then it didn't work so good. It couldn't handle like the amount of slewing and the speeds of the slewing that I was doing. So we had to go to the MX. So it's like, it's this gradual progression that you go through as you're doing this stuff, and I'm not saying everybody has to go there. You don't have to go there at all. You don't have to do that. We took asteroid observations with our 8-inch, and we did. And the work that we're showing you right now, you can do with your backyard telescope. You can do these things you can go down to your local stores, man, and you can go to Explorer Scientific at Jerry there, and you guys could buy a Explorer Scientific telescope and a mount, and you can take observations of asteroids with them all day long. No question. Technology is there for you to be able to do it. So, that's the beautiful part. You couldn't do this work 10, 15 years ago at all like this. And we are, that's the other thing that we do here at the Asteroid Hunter community is we have a Discord, and we got a big website we're building, and we're trying to do stuff for you guys. And we're trying to bring everybody, knowledge to everybody so they know, and understand. Because when we started this 2 years, I guess it'll be 2 years this month that we started this. My son and I couldn't find anything, man. If it wasn't for David Rankin, thank you, David. Let me cheers to David. Thanks, David. David was kind enough to answer my phone call, my email, and he was kind enough to say, send me your images. Let me see what you're doing over there. And kind enough to say, you're doing it all wrong. Here's what you got to do. And then he did that and showed us, and then we were able to take off with it. So I'm determined to say, okay, we want to, and I'll share this. I share this on the streams all the time. I want to bring this knowledge to people. I want people to know. We're here to help. I was on the phone with a gentleman in New Jersey, Dennis in New Jersey. I don't know if he's watching the stream. Dennis we had a long talk the other day. He's asking me about, calibration frames. He has an Edge 14 with the same camera, 6200 ZWO, and asking me about calibration frames and all this kind of stuff. And I said, I'm texting me. I go, listen, just call me. Call me, man. Really? Yeah, call me. Talk to him on the phone, man. This is what we're here for. We're here to help you guys. we started this community, and we're here to help people. And we don't know everything by any stretch. There's a lot. There's guys that have been doing this a lot longer than us that have incredible knowledge. People like Jerry, people like David Rankin, all these kind of guys that do all kinds of amazing work. And I will not even be the first one to I will never claim that we know all the stuff. No, we do not. But we're trying, and we're making progress. And like I said, in the last 2 months, we did 12,000 observations with over 3,200 objects. And it's pretty. We're pretty fired up about that. And we made some dwarf nova discoveries and some variable star discoveries. We made a bunch of transit discoveries over last month, and we're just getting started. I mean, really, the Sky Survey really just started like a few months ago. We just started it. It took us months to get there. Jerry, I don't know if you knew this. It took us months. This was developed by our gentleman in Brazil, and he would remote into my machine every day for weeks. And it took weeks to get this thing dialed in. This is a custom software we use, and it takes a long time to get it dialed in. And it's time and money. It's a lot. It takes money because then it's like, oh, you do something and you find out, oh man, like I need this. Okay, I get that. I buy that. Okay, we got it. Now we get that hurdle. Oh, now I need to buy this. We use visual pinpoint to blink. I got to buy that software. Dang it. That's $100-something. So made us a lot of time. Also it is. So, but fortunately, Paulo, everybody asks me all the time, man, Paulo makes us look good, man. I'll tell you, Paulo makes us look good. I had somebody the other day from the AVSO, like asking me about my transient detections, like, hey, do you check your work in Visier? And I said, yeah, we actually, the software automatically will go to Aladdin Light. We'll look at all the layers from all the various sky surveys against our dwarf, our transient detections. Then we'll go into Visier. We check the Gaia catalog. We go look at I gave him 2 mass and all. I gave him all the big list. I said, and then we go to Assassin. We check the light curves. And by the way, I'm finding out that Assassin light curves I'm learning that their data has a lot of contamination in it. And I'm not very impressed with their data, to be honest with you. But we look at all this. I gave him the handful, and he goes, wow, I can't believe you do all those checks and you do all that work just to make sure it's right. That's amazing. And I said, well, it's not me. It's Paulo, man, telling me this is what you got to do. Here's how you do it. This is what you do. And I said, he makes us look good. He makes us look like we're pro. So he got us set up here. But so yeah, back to this. So basically, our residuals here, these are excellent residuals. They're all under 0.5. I've had people ask me, about residuals. I'm like, listen, I kind of sum it up to this. It's based on the error of how your image and your accuracy of your pointing your image itself. And I say, listen, what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a dart at a dartboard at a football field that's like 4 or 5 football fields away. Okay, I'm going to hit the center of that target, but the question is, how far off of the center am I going to be? I'm going to throw that dart at that dartboard. I'm going to walk up to it. I'm going to look how far off of that center am I going to be? And this is kind of like how residuals are. It's like how really good how good are your actual measurements and your observations based on your seeing, based on your imaging, those kinds of things. So I tell people, like, listen, that's kind of the dumb man's version of what that's all about. But yeah, essentially we want to make sure our residuals are excellent. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're flat out not. And I've had observations where I'm like, I'm not going to submit this work. It's over 1. But I've had situations too where your residuals can also they're affected by the amount of observations you have and the quality of the other observations against it. It's kind of measuring an average over this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So you have a certain amount of observations in here, and they have residuals in there, and it's kind of looking at your observations against them. Remember, we're all working together. That's why it's so important that people that have observatories around the world try to do the best they can, because their work goes into the pot. We all kind of put this into the pot here, man. And you have an object and you have all these observations on it. And some of these observations we're trying to figure out what the orbit of this thing is. And so we want all of our images to be as accurate as they can be. because they all kind of get averaged out throughout to figure it out. You know what I mean? So if you're submitting bad data, and it can work against certain things, and a lot of times it's like it's not even worth having in there if you got bad data. So it depends. So so that's the case, you know. So let me check up here with the chat. I haven't talked to you guys on 127 millimeter refractor in South Carolina. Thank you, Jerry. Appreciate doing amazing work. Thank you, sir. Yeah, we do have a weather system behind. That's what's behind me. Oops. Right here. It's sitting on top of the, I don't think you can see it. Can you see it? No, you can't see it. I have a weather station on top of the observatory. Right now it's on top of the roof that's rolled out. So, but it's linked to that. I have a link to it on the Discord, so you guys can actually see that data on our Discord. So it shows that, but that's my weather station that I have sitting there on there as well. So. Comet Girl, thanks for the host. Appreciate that. That was a little while ago. E5 Part 4C, thanks for the follow, man. Appreciate it. So that's sitting on top of that thing. You know, the back cam here for you guys. So basically, let me just finish this off here. So we know that we have good measurements. We have decent measurements here. So essentially, I'm going to generate a report off this thing. I'll just generate an ADS report. It's what I like to send. You could send a 1992. It's like, hey man, whatever you want to send, it doesn't matter. Some people like Sam and them, they just send emails with stuff. There's various ways to send data to the Minor Planet Center. My SkySift software automatically does stuff. I literally hit one button and it sends it via email to a certain part of the Minor Planet Center. This is kind of how we do if I do a follow-up like I am tonight, I'm going to just show you guys real quick what I do here. It's real easy. This is the report that it's here. Gives our observatory code, gives our name, gives our instrument information here. Gives these are the actual 3 observations. And I'll just copy that and I'll create a little notepad and I'll just paste this in here, and then I'm going to save this as, and I haven't done an ADS report in a while, guys. You guys are making us dust off our follow-up our SD224. I usually try to write stuff down because it becomes a little bit too difficult to keep up. So I'll save that, and then what I'll do is I'll go to you know what, let me bring that back. Let me just go over here. If you just go to into the Minor Planet Center, and you can even just do it. This is the easiest way to do it right here. Let me pull this over for you guys. I'm trying to get this so you can see this here. It's the Minor Planet Center. You see this little search thing here? You just type in PSV, like the PSV file or something. You just search that, and I'll just hit that link right there, and I'll just choose the file that I just made. That's all. No big deal. Don't have to overthink that stuff at all. There's the file. I'll open it. That's our email, asteroidhunters@gmail. These are observations. This is a NEO. It's not a NEO CP. It's not anything brand new. It's a known object. So we'll just submit that, and it'll just say, hey, you're submitted and good. There, it just gave me a green. You're received, and that's it. And we just submitted data. I'll get an email confirmation that says, hey, you sent the data, you're good, and that's it. And then what we'll do is you go tomorrow and we'll look and see if our observations are accepted. I want to show you guys. So those of you just joining us, this is our sky coverage we've done in the last 2 months with our sky survey that's been reported to the Minor Planet Center. There's our coverage here. So yeah, it's I want to show you guys how you can kind of pull up this real quick, just so you can see this. Those of you, it's like I said, I got a lot of people in the Minor Planet Center website. It's a little difficult to get around if you haven't put your eyes on it before. Those of us that have been looking at it for a long time, we know, we understand, we know our way around. But those of you that do not, that are just starting, it's like, oh, I remember when I looked at this, I was like, The one thing I always had a hard time with when we started this was when we started looking at this, you pull up information on asteroids research stuff, you get put into these websites from the universities and stuff, and you're like, oh my gosh, like, ugh, what am I looking at, man? Like, I'm an audio engineer, man. Like, how do I figure this out? So a little bit daunting, and that's why we're building a website that has a search engine that is going to pull the Minor Planet Center database, but it's going to be a lot more user friendly for people to just go in and kind of type some stuff out and say, okay, here's some information to be able to do that. So we're working on that. If you go here to observers and you go to orbits and observations database, okay, pull this up, super easy. Just click that and then put in the designation of what it is. So we're looking at 2014 SD224. And it just pulls it up. Okay. It'll give you an interactive little orbit sketch. It gives you all the kind of the information on it, the speed, degrees, 1.1 degree per day. This is one of the more important things that I would want to look at right now, is kind of see the speed of the thing. But it tells you what it is. It's an Aten orbit, near Earth object, discovered by Pan-STARRS 2014. And then the big thing is you scroll down and see the observations. You start seeing the observations on this stuff. And you see who's all in here, who's doing all the stuff. Obviously, the sky surveys, Pan-STARRS, Mount Lemmon, Atlas, McDonald Observatory, all the stuff. So we're hoping that by tomorrow morning, hopefully we should have our observatory in this list. That point, which it should be. We shouldn't have any problem with that. But that's how you would see kind of. What's neat about this is if you're like, hey, what's the last observation on this thing? What magnitudes of that? You pull it up and you scroll all the way down, and you can say, okay, well, it was last observed on the 19th. On the 19th. At this RA and deck, and here's the mag, 16.6. So you kind of get an idea of what the brightness is of it, and you kind of start looking, you're like, it's 16, 17 mag, 16 mag. We measured 16.4 is what we measured tonight, roughly 16.3, something like that. So magnitude's not as super important in the Minor Planet Center world as much as it positions everything. So we're really concerned about just these positions, about that stuff. Sometimes these brightnesses can be kind of all over the place. I've noticed when I look through some of this, I'm like, whoa. Sometimes they're a little wonky at times, but positions are what's most important in there is a big thing. So you can scroll down and kind of see what's where. It's like, oh, where's this? Here's an object. Where's it at? You pull it up and you can kind of look and see where the last observations are of it in there. So that's kind of a quick, easy way to kind of look at stuff to see what's where when quickly. Again, observers and this orbits observation database. This is something we use all the time for stuff, just to look at things. I also obviously use the MP checker and stuff. If I find an object and I want to check it against database, I use MP checker and some other different things. Sam Dean, N3, I think they use MP checker when they're looking at their pre-covers we do in our Discord. Those of you that, by the way, if you, are new to the channel and just joining the community, man, join our Discord, please. If you have interest, my son will put a link up here. We got a lot of stuff going on there, and we have in our discussions page we have Sam Dean, N3 in there, and they're doing pre-covers. So what they're doing is what Sam really is great at, and N3's gotten really amazing at this. By the way, as well, they don't own telescopes. Okay, but what they'll do is look at observations, and they'll say, hey, I need to see if I can find or either recover a lost object, or they say, well, I'm going to try to gather data on this object years before it was discovered to see if we can get a better orbital. Again, remember, it's about the amount of observations. If you find an object that has been to say it was discovered 2 years ago, but you look at a sky survey image from 8 years ago and you find that same object, now you have that position from 8 years ago. So you're going to get a much better understanding of what that position is. So what Sam and them will do is they pull sky survey images, and they'll look at them and try to find lost objects, because they'd find them, guys, and they find them right in our Discord. That's my guys right there doing it, man. In our community, we're so grateful to have them there, man. It's awesome. So they don't own a telescope. They're doing the same work without a telescope, and they submit the data, the Minor Planet Center, and they make discoveries, and they do that kind of stuff right there. They don't look through a single scope, but they look at these sky surveys, which are available to people online. You can download these images. You can download this stuff. So, so that's it. I imagine you go after dim objects. We're challenged, Jerry, because look where we're positioned, and Jerry knows this better than anybody. I'm happy to have you here, man. It's great to have you here, by the way, Jerry. It's awesome. We're sitting in the middle of like 3 of the biggest sky surveys on the planet. I mean, and I'm in the middle of them, man. I got freaking Catalina, over here on my shoulder, and then I got Pan-STARRS, and I got Atlas, and I got these guys on my other shoulder here, and I'm right in the middle. So how to compete, it's really difficult. So, and I'm not sitting on top of a beautiful mountain with the best skies, So right now, we're kind of looking in some areas where there's not a lot of searching that goes on, because our software can handle the subtraction of the stars so well that we do a lot of searching in the Milky Way. A lot of 10 years ago, I didn't know the sky surveys used to stay away from the Milky Way. By the way, you guys knew this. They used to steer clear of those areas, and it was really if you had the ability to get in there and look, because there's the star, and you guys know. I mean, the star fields in a Milky Way, you have massive star fields. It's very difficult to find objects that are moving around in there, especially slower objects. Really difficult. So we have the ability with our image subtraction to kind of go in there and look for some of that stuff. So, yeah, it's we're looking in various areas. Are we looking for right now? I'm just looking. I'm not looking for. Chances are I'm going to find something that's in that faint region, but right now we're just trying to make a discovery of any kind at this point. So I don't have any super parameters that I'm like, oh, I'm just going as. What I'm trying to do is be consistent. We're trying to look in areas that other people aren't looking. I will say this: Paulo contacted me a few weeks ago. He says, hey, there was a point where. And he's looking at what the sky surveys are doing all the time. He says there was a point where the moon we're kind of on the backside of the full moon, there's times when we're imaging kind of closer to the moon. We mess around with that, and I'm told that's some great location, by the way, guys. Those are areas that get avoided for a lot of days. Okay, when the moon starts getting full and coming on the backside, that can be your friend. You can get into some of those regions because some of those areas have just not been looked at because the moon is so bright. So, but there was a point where kind of in the northeast region, we were doing a lot of searching. And I actually discovered I discovered a dwarf nova in that area. But Paulo said you were the only sky survey in the world that was searching there. He says, I was looking and like you were the only one that was reporting in that area. And I'm like, okay, well, that's good. Okay, so these are the kinds of things we're looking at. Like, where are we searching based off where we're not? Because we're limited. I mean, one big thing is I unfortunately have, on my west side, we're on a hillside. We're in a subdivision. The houses stack up like this, up this hill. Okay, so we're sitting here. So our neighbor is slightly above us. Well, he's got some big, tall trees. And that's to my west. So I can't get low into the horizon on my west side. Now, my east side, if you guys can see, this is my horizon. I can get pretty low in the horizon in the east. You can see the line. That's my house right there on the left side. We're looking out of the observatory right now. I can see pretty far down the east. So I have a good image when the sun's coming up. I can get down low elongation and look kind of close on the sun when that's coming up. But my west, when the sun goes down, I'm limited. I have to look kind of more up, which is a bummer. So we have some limitations based on that, what we're doing. But we do a lot of searching in the Milky Way. That's where I find a lot of transient discoveries in the Milky Way. And it's a tough region because there's just so many stars, and especially with a Raza. Oh my gosh, man. I mean, I'm only doing 30-second exposures, but it can be pretty daunting with the amount of stars that come up in an image with a Raza into the Milky Way. The star fields are massive in there. So, fortunately, the software allows us to look through there. And when we discovered that, we discovered that satellite, and I don't know if you guys were here for that when we started the stream, I was telling people what happened. You know, we were going over what the objects we did. We did 12,000 observations in the last 2 months and 3,200 objects and all that stuff. And I said, and we thought we had a NEO. I had other guys look at it and say, oh, that looks like a NEO, man. We had an image in the Milky Way. It was popping through. It was moving pretty good. And it was like, this is it, man. We did an MP checker. We checked some of the databases. We even looked at some other databases. It's like, this thing is a NEO. We reported it, and it came back as a satellite. Now, we had gone to Bill Gray's site there, and it wasn't showing up. So I contacted Bill, and I said, hey, you know, this didn't show up in there. And he said, that's interesting. And he knew what it was. He said, and apparently it was some kind of, which is cool. I thought it was so cool. It's like it's either a Russian satellite or something that the Chinese use to communicate with their orbiter on the other side of the moon, which is totally awesome. But here's where it gets funny. So we get a kickback. Says satellite. Okay, dang it, man. That's a bummer. It happens. 2 weeks later, it gets there's a report on the minor planet sale NEO CP page from the Catalina Sky Survey. We have a new object, 2020 XA1, I think it was called. It was the satellite, and Catalina reported it, and it got reported as a NEO. Now Bill Gray saw that up there, known that we had reported it, so he came back and was like, "Oh no, this is the satellite." They pulled it down immediately, but it got reported as a NEO. And I was cracking up because I was like, wow, the Sky Surveys reported it. They get it posted, man. We report it. It's like, nope. So, but it's just one of those things, you know. But we thought we had our first one a few weeks ago. So it'll be just amount of time. We just try to be consistent as we can be. And like I said, we're going to make a lot of transient discoveries and a lot of discoveries of potential supernovas and those kind of things along the way. We are doing that work as well, which is totally awesome. I'm so glad we do that too. The software does all those kinds of things. So that's that. So we can real quick. We were looking at. Let me go through another one here for you guys. We imaged 2002 TS67. So let's just see. I'm not sure. Let's see if that's even going to pop up there. It was pretty low on the horizon. We did some 60-second exposures of it. It's 18 plus magnitude or something, I think. We got 30 exposures of it. We did 30 minutes worth. So again, we'll go into this express mode and we'll just calibrate and align our images. Let's see what Tycho does on this thing. I'm going to check the speed of this bad boy because I forget. I think it's slow, much slower. It is. It's only 1.02 arc seconds per minute, moving much slower rate. So we'll see if we capture that or not based on this position. We were looking pretty low on the horizon, and it tends to be a little bit more difficult to find 18 plusers in that realm. So we've had some nights, man. We've captured 19.2 with 30-second exposure. We've registered that and imaged some of those known asteroids at that magnitude. Looking kind of straight up, you know, when you have really good seeing stuff, we can get upwards over 19 mag, which is phenomenal. But on average, when we have average seeing 18.5, 18.7, 18.5 to 18.7, 18.6 ish, pretty average for us for 30 seconds. So a little tougher. You go, well, just go longer so you can go deeper. Yeah, the challenge is that because where we're at, Bortle 5 ish. Start going longer, man. Those exposures, those you just start introducing more noise from the light pollution that's going on. So there's only a certain amount where you go, okay, I'm just bringing in more noise. I'm not really going deeper at that point, you know. So when I find my first comet with South Carolina, I'll call you to confirm it. Please do, Dennis. Please do. Love it, man. I love it. Thank you, Jerry. Thanks for coming by, man. If you guys haven't checked out Jerry, he's with Explorer Scientific. They do a lot of streams on YouTube. Jerry does a bunch of exoplanet research, man, and you know, I think Jerry, didn't you drop a link in our research team the other day about some stuff? I don't know. You did a podcast or something, didn't you, Jerry? If you want to, drop that link, man. If you can. Jerry does a lot of exoplanet research as well, and much like us, backyard observatory style stuff, just does phenomenal work, and is with Explorer Scientific, and is is on their live streams all the time. So really appreciate you being here, man. Thanks for coming by, my friend. Good to see you. Yeah, the exoplanet section. If you have that link, man, I don't know where I have that. I think you did a podcast or something. You started that. Please drop that in there, man. I'd love for you guys haven't followed Jerry, man. What he's got going on, it's phenomenal. The work that he has going on, and we look up to the stuff that he's doing, man. Phenomenal. Appreciate that. So, all right, let me load these images in here and see. I always got to put the disclaimer out there, man. Like sometimes we just don't find it. We don't find what we're looking for, but we'll give it a shot here. Again, I'll just hit the auto button, auto threshold. Doesn't matter to me. Be fine. So 1.0 arc seconds per minute. We're just going to take this down to, let's go to 0.9, and then we'll do 1.2. Yeah, 1.2. Let's see kind of as a speed range, and we'll see what happens there as that goes. So, but again, join that Discord, guys, if you haven't in the part of that community. We're growing that all the time, and just love to have everybody in there, man. And we're finally, we've had some bad winds, but we're able to. Oh, is it really, Brandon? Oh my gosh, let me see here. Let me just do this. Let me see if I can start that over again. My son is messaging me about. Is that the same stuff? Turn it down a little bit. Okay. Is that any better there, Brandon? Hopefully that's better. There you go. Jerry put that link, SoundCloud. You guys check that out, man. Please do. Please do. Check that out from Jerry there. All right. So it found something. There's an object sitting there right there in our field there. So doesn't look like it. What 2000 TS. There's TS. Here's our object. I could just barely see it in there. There it is right there. You just see it in there. There she is. It's right there, right? So, but as you can see, we captured a whole bunch more objects, which is kind of interesting. So we captured 1998 BG42. So this just goes to show, remember when I talked about, guys, when we do our sky survey, when I say, we do 1,000, we'll capture up to 1,000 objects in a night. Take care, Jerry. We'll do like up to 1,000. This is what happens. You capture a single field in certain parts of the sky. There could be 20, 30, 50 asteroids in that field of view. Remember, we're shooting with a RASA because our field of view is very wide. So we can capture a lot of objects in there. So we end up getting a lot more objects in there. So here's 2001 UM77. You see how slow these guys are moving? These are position angle 261. These are all main belters. 280. These are all main belt asteroids. And see how slow they're going? Like they're barely moving. These guys are just chugging along. Look at this, man. Just chugging along. Just really slow objects in here. But you can see we end up capturing quite a few. There's another one. 1998 XT34. If you do this load McOrb MP orb database, it's loading the database and it's looking at all of these potential finds against it and says, hey, these are the designations for these known objects. Here's another one. So we just captured a whole lot of asteroids within our range. The one we were looking for was TS67, and this is tough. Remember what I said based on the position? It was really low in the sky. I said, well, let's shoot it anyway. If I was, and we'll look at the residuals. Why not? Let's do it. But if I was to really, I can already tell they're going to be rough just because I can. This object's really difficult to see based on position. If I wait, like right now, like an hour later, or see where the telescope's pointed now, and start shooting it, we'll be able to see it a lot easier. As it gets up higher in the sky, we can see it easier. Those kind of things. So, if I was to shoot this, I would normally wait till it's up a little bit. That's how our follow-ups work, by the way, as well. When we're doing our sky survey, and the next morning I get up and I'm drinking my coffee and I blink through an image and I see it and I go, oh, this could potentially be something. I want to do a follow-up tonight. I can program the follow-up to do best position, which means it would only image it if it's at its highest point in the sky. So when an object gets to its highest point in the sky and you're looking, especially straight up above you, that's when that's when your best observations or seeing can be, and you can generally see a lot fainter objects when you're looking straight up. When you start looking down in the horizon, you get a lot of light pollution, you get a lot of atmospheric disturbance that happens, stuff coming off the mountains, you get deltas coming off the mountains and all kinds of stuff. It becomes a lot more difficult. So generally you usually wait. So what I would normally do is if I was like, oh, I'm going to follow this object up and I want to really make clean observations, I would wait for it to get up in the sky a little bit and then take the observations, is what I would do. So, but we'll try this. We only have 30 minutes worth of data here. I mean, if I stack all these together, you can see it. It's barely in there, but it's there. You can see it there. So, let's just see what this looks like here. Oh, I always forget to load the star catalog. Welcome, Stellar Times. Good to see you. So we're just we're imaging some asteroids tonight. We were just looking at a few of the objects we just captured. These asteroids right here. This kind of moving around. Lighten the intensity here. You can actually invert this this image as well if you want to, and you want to look at the actual, with the image inverted like it would normally would be. You can do that as well. Here's an object there. See it moving. I like to look at everything inverted. It really makes it so much easier to see the objects when the images are inverted. You can see the motion on that thing. So, we're just I'm just running through some known objects. The objects we were doing tonight need some follow-up observations from the Minor Planet Center. So we were taking some observational data and sending it to the Minor Planet Center. I was given a rundown on kind of how to do it. So I've been talking my mouth off for the last few hours. I'm sure half of people are asleep by the point hearing my voice. Sorry, guys. But I just thought, you know what, man, I need to do kind of a rundown in this because I've had a lot of questions lately, so I thought I would do that. So we're looking at this 2002 TS-67. We shot this thing really low in the horizon, so it's not out of our brightness range of what our telescope can do, but being low in the horizon because we shot it, it's much more difficult to see where it's at. But we're going to try to just show a measure. I guarantee the measurements won't be any good, but we'll just see what they do. Why not, So I'm going to verify this track, and let me add some observations and see what happens here. Sometimes it takes a bit for. See, they're way out. We're not even close to where we need to be. You know what I mean? So again, it's understandable because the thing's just too dim. It's not going to do what we want it to do as far as the that goes. Oh, you know what? Let me do this. Sorry. Let me do this. Let me try this here. Hang on a second. Real quick. Let me do this here. Sorry. I was looking at the wrong thing. Apologize there. I was looking at the wrong thing. No wonder. I had the wrong track selected. I didn't have our actual object selected. See, we have one residual that's at 2.3, 0.94, 0.40. I mean, there's one that's under 0.5, right? So, and there's one at 0.01. Like, but these are way too high. I would never submit these. This one wouldn't even get used because it's out of the range. But that's what happens, right? When it's, again, all about seeing where you're shooting, basically some of your angles that you're shooting at. If you're shooting low in the horizon, you could have bad residuals based on your seeing conditions, those kinds of things. If I wait another hour in this image, this object gets up higher in the sky and I shoot it, I'm going to have phenomenal residuals. I could submit that data, no question. I could do that all day long. So, but you can just kind of see that that has an effect on it, and you could tell, man. I mean, looking at this thing, you can barely see it in there. I mean, it's there, but you barely see it. So hard to get an observation on it. Now, if I do this guy, oop. Oh, shoot, what number? This one's a little bit dimmer. Let's just do a verified track on this. This is UM77 2001. Let's just take a look at what this looks. Now, again, this is one of those situations we were talking about earlier where you got good residual or something, but you got an object that's really slow, and you're not really helping with the orbit of this thing because your observations are on an object that's way too slow. This is not the right object. I don't have the right thing correct here. This is not correct. What am I looking at? So this is one of those things where it could be, if it's too slow, you're not going to get, you're not going to help with the actual orbit of the thing by doing that. You know what I mean? So this object's moving pretty slow. So this would be one of those where you take a set of exposures and then you probably wait an hour and come back and you would catch it farther down, you know, down the track here where it's moving, and then you could pick it up, and then you would wait another hour and do it again, and you get some actual distance in between there, so you get some good positions on the thing, understanding where it's at, you know, and that's how the main belters are. They're a lot like that. Generally, we do about, for our sky survey, we're doing 20 minutes in between exposure, and it gives us a pretty decent 20-30 minutes in between. Gives us pretty decent split in there, in between there. So this see, following the track, because it's moving so slow, it just looks funky, right? How it's doing it. So if you, let me go down to 2 observations just to see what this guy does. I'm just curious. Again, these are things where it's like, I want to look at this and put some spacing in between. It's just to see. See 0.82. Again, these residuals are a little higher. You go, oh, why they're high? Because the object's barely moving. Barely moving. So, and this is a challenge. This is Dennis brought this up, and he's right. It's true. This is the one problem with Tycho trackers, that you have to have at least, what do they want you to have? At least 11 images. I think he wants you to have at least 11 images to get a session going in there. So you can't just take one exposure, wait an hour, take one exposure, wait an hour, take one exposure, and throw it in there, stack them, and have that. You need to take 11, wait an hour, take another 11, wait an hour, take another 11. Okay, and do that. So you have to have a series of exposures for Tycho to work. It won't just take a single exposure. It won't allow you to do that. And that is, if there's any downfall, which this would be it, man. I'm telling you. It's 11 minimum. Okay, so thank you. This would be the only downfall because I'm such a fan of the software. And again, you know, you guys can look at, you know, if you go to our YouTube channel, you can look at some of our earlier stuff. You can use Astrometrica for some of those single observations as well, single exposures. Astrometrica works on that. Now, the tough part with Astrometrica is the problem with the, you know, file sizes. We shot with a 1600. We binned 2x2. Our file sizes were about 8 megabytes per. Astrometrica handled it okay, pretty decent. So if you want to do single fields, you can. But Tycho is just so much better in so many ways. Yeah, I mean it's true. Needs stacked reduced noise. It's true. So there's a lot of variances. There's not a golden perfect like this is. Tycho's pretty close, man. Though that does everything that like it's all you need. But I can tell you guys is that and a lot of you guys that you may be watching have observatory codes know a lot of the observatories around the world are using the software, and they're using it successfully, and they're finding new objects with it too. It's happening. So it is feasible that you can find objects with it. You can do follow-up work with it. You can make great reports. You can check your residuals. You can utilize incredible processing power from your computers. If you have bigger machines like we do here, ours, as you guys know, our machines are custom builds that we have here. Got a Ryzen 3900X, which actually I can't believe I'm doing this, but I just I took advantage of some Black Friday sales. I got a 3950X going in with 128 gigs of RAM. Why? Because I'm stupid. That's why, because I'm insane, and I'm like, why not? We're gonna do some reconfiguring of some other machines. So, but it utilizing the processor, the GPU, the stuff that Tycho does with that is like it's second to none. As David Rankin told me, he says, Mike, it's so much better in so many ways, and it's true, it is. And for $50, come on, man. Can't tell you what we spent on our SkySift software. So I'm telling you right now, $50 is pretty amazing. So you guys are spoiled to think about what you get for $50 is pretty awesome, actually, to be able to do legitimate work. Yeah, you know what? I'm 5950X. So I've tried. I have a friend that works at AMD, and we tried that finagle, and oh my gosh, man, you can't get these. This TD on PC. This is Dennis, right? This is Dennis. Is this guy I talked to the other day, Dennis? Dennis, you can't get them, man. And I've been following some of those YouTube channels, man, where some of these guys have these bots that are going that are like checking stock like every 10 seconds at these locations, and it's funny, man. It is Dennis. Okay, that. All of a sudden a stock alert will go on. You'll go, and you'll click the link, and it's like, boom, gone. It's like gone. And you look, and there's there's 3,000 people watching the link, and it's so funny, man, how that stuff is right now. So I was like, well, I can get a 3950X. I'll just get that right now. So that's fine. So we bought that, and I'm such a Ryzen fan now, man. I mean, as you guys know, if you've watched some of the videos and been following us for a while, I mean, this machine behind me here, this is a 3700X with 32 gigs of RAM, and this is our streaming computer. This is what's running the stream right now behind me. And but I have a gobs of Ryzen machines now. I just love them, So yeah, 3090 would be sweet. But it's that way too. You're watching that stuff and it's just like not available, man. It's not available. So yeah, I mean, you can't even get 2080 cards right now. I mean, it's ridiculous, man. Nothing's available. It's a tough time to have to be in the computer world right now, man. Really difficult. You have 3700X. So we over the course of the last few weeks, we put in this machine right here. This is our you guys can't quite see it. This is on a Thermaltake P3 chassis. It's like a wall hanging case. You guys have seen the P3. This is the observatory computer. Ryzen 3700X, 32 gigs of RAM with a 2070 card in it. Does it need that card? No. I just had that card hanging out, so I threw it in there. But this is hanging on the wall. This was in the observatory. And we started running the sky surveys. I was running, I had the roof open like all night. So I'd go out there, at 5 a.m, and we had some nights, man, in Southern California. We had like 90% humidity. We had some clouds roll through marine layer stuff. We had like 85, 90% humidity. So I go out there and it's like the computer's wet, like it's damp. So it's like that's not pleasant. I don't want that equipment to be getting all like rusted out and jacked up. So So we over the course of the last few weeks, we built the case, we hung it on the wall, and then we ran all the cables out there. So all that's out there is a monitor sitting on the wall in there, and a mouse and a keyboard, and that's it. So, and it allows me to go out, and I have the scope connected to it, and I can do stuff to the telescope and check things out. And I usually primarily use it to focus the instrument when I'm out there. So that's what that is. We just put that together, and we did a full revamp of everything. We cleaned up all the cables, and you guys, we cleaned. See the walls like all clean now. The walls clean. We have the cables are all tucked, all ran, big snakes running, and all up. Everything's super clean back here. You don't see any cables. We did a bunch of work, man. We did a bunch of work just for Tycho. Well, that's and that's the thing, especially with the computers nowadays. You can you can really utilize the processing power of Tycho, and I highly recommend it to anybody. To that for that purpose, so. So that's kind of the big rundown for you guys on kind of the Tycho Tracker stuff, all those kinds of things that's going on, and kind of how to do a follow-up. I think I covered some of that stuff. Again, we utilize, we're using SkyX. I know SkyX can be very expensive. Not everybody runs it. You can do... we started with Stellarium. It's free. Stellarium's an excellent program. What's nice why I say Stellarium and I like it is you can download the Minor Planet Center database into it. You can go out there and pull, you go into the solar system editor, you click in there and you can pull the, stuff from the Minor Planet Center page, and it'll pull known objects, and then you can just do finds on stuff and sleuth to the targets. I'm a big fan of that as opposed to I know people that put in coordinates. Sometimes it's a little daunting, man, trying to punch coordinates into your system and trying to read, and you're trying to get the coordinates off the Minor Planet Center page, and it's like, that's hard. We try to be easy here, man. So I recommend. I'm sure there's other software out there that does that too. Those are the two that we've used. That's all I know is Stellarium, and then we use SkyX, obviously. I mean, we have Paramount, so we're using all the T-point stuff in the SkyX and as well. So there's various stuff out there you guys can use, but the big thing is getting that database in there, being able to pull up targets, sleuth them quickly, see where their positions are, check to see if you're, they're in areas you can view them and image them, and then start messing with your exposures as well. Let me talk to you. Okay, Dennis, thank you. I'm going to touch Dennis on the calibration frames, because I want to mention that real quick. You've already heard my spiel. We talked on the phone, so you've already heard what I'm going to say. I had Dennis call me the other day, ask me about calibration frames and the importance of them. For our sky survey, we do use flats, darks, and bias image dark subtraction bias frames and flat frames. The flat frames we've gotten from just taking sky flats. Sky flats work incredibly well, and I highly recommend using sky flats because they're easy. And all we did was put a dew shield with a t-shirt on there and point it down towards the sky when the sun was going down, when the light was less, and we took sky flats and we utilize that. If you're running Tycho, I will say, Tycho's pseudo flat, it's taking the actual image scale of the image and making a flat out of it. So it's not doing a random flat. It's like it's utilizing the image scale of your image. So it makes a really good flat on your image. The pseudo flat does on this, at least for us. Could be different for other cameras, other people. We've been using it. I used it with the 1600. I used it with this. I used it with the QHY 600. It worked incredibly well. If I look at, I don't know if I can pull these, what this is going to look like. Hang on a second. CCD inspector. So this is literally an image we're imaging 2002 TS67, right? So this is the image calibrated with this pseudo flat. Okay, that's a 60-second exposure of just on the outside of the Milky Way where we were just looking. This is what we just took. We just took this exposure. Okay, just now. The TS 2002 TS67. This is one of the exposures from that. Here's the actual. Let me open the original file. You could see the frame. There's the frame, right? Kind of bright right now, you know. That's just the raw image. Right there. It's a little bit bright just because of the way that CCD is handling it. But that's what just basically the pseudo flat put on it. Okay. So it's again, looking at that image scale, it makes that image really, really clean across the board, all the way to the edges. I mean, if I get down in this thing and start to kind of look at the edges of this, you guys can see the edges right out here. Look at these stars and the edges over there on that corner. See where my cursor is, right there. That's right. Look at these stars. I mean, it looks really clean. So, and I use this a lot. I was using this a lot before the Sky Survey. We got our own deal. I use this a lot. I use the pseudo flat a lot. And in fact, you know, when our Sky Survey, we were actually messing with pseudo flat stuff when we were putting it together. So, it does good flats, man. So I'm just saying, Tycho does really good flats, and don't be afraid to use it. If you can, it works incredibly well. So that's the big thing. Don't overthink this stuff. The most important thing that you guys can do is if you're looking at any of these objects is you have to have flat frames. You absolutely have to have flat frames. You got to run flats. It's going to help with your plate solves, which in turn is going to help with your residuals. Got to have good plate solves. Got to be able to have good positions in there, your plate solves and good positions and good images, and it will help. That was a big mistake we made in the beginning. I didn't have any calibration frames, and David Rankin was like, "You need flat fields right now. Like, don't. You need to calibrate your images." We didn't run darks. You should. I mean, you can. You don't have to. We didn't run darks tonight. They're running fine, but we run flat fields. You absolutely have to have flat fields. So most important thing is those flat fields. Get that image clean, and again, just to help with those plate solves that help you be able to figure out where the location is the sky in Tycho, so it can really plate solve the image properly. Get a fair amount of stars in there and figure out where it's at, and then have good residuals on your images. So those are some of the most important things that are in there. But flat fields is it. And it's like I was telling Dennis, like, don't overthink, man. Shoot sky flats. Don't be afraid with that. We screwed up. We bought a light panel. It didn't work. I'm sitting and I spent a fortune on the stupid thing. I'm sitting on it still. I still have it. I don't know if I'm going to do anything with it, but I'm still have it, and it's a good panel. It just didn't work for us. And I found out that sky flats work a lot better than that. So that's that. That's kind of the rundown, guys. If you guys have any questions or anything, if you can't join the Discord, what I would like to do right now, if possible, is I'd actually like to get the survey running right now just a little bit, and we'll get that kind of running. I need to see what 58 degrees. What is? I want to see what the focus is looking like on our telescope right now. I'm not really sure. I'm not going to run all night tonight, but we'll run for a little bit here. I'm going to run probably all night through the week, though. I'll be I'll light the stream through the week. We'll get that going. The asteroid search stream, so you guys can see right up into the Christmas realm. I've got a point where in the next after the middle of January, I've actually got a break from work for about a month or so. So we're gonna be hitting it pretty hard here. Trying to really do a lot of searching. Our focus looks pretty good right now still, actually. These all look pretty clean. I'm just checking our focus. It looks pretty clean. So, so let me no, let's not shut down. No. Let's kill this for a second here. Camera's cooled, right? So I'm gonna start the survey here, guys. I hope you don't mind. So we'll start ACP, get the observatory control software. We'll select our script. Let me get what is the name of the thing? It is task scheduler. Let me get SkySift running. All right, SkySift is running, ready to receive. Ready to receive, Captain. All right, let me bring this down a little bit. I'll bring this right here. We'll put this. We'll put the script window right there. Let's put ACP up. I'll just leave that right here. I'm gonna hit run. It's automatically, we're already connected, but it automatically connects to the camera, and it starts cooling it. Normally, it would normally just start cooling it. It's going to take it down to -9. It's already going to be there, but it's doing that. It's already slewing the telescope. You can see the telescope is, oh shoot. I have lost this feed here. Hang on a second, guys. Yikes. What's up, Arcturus? How are you, sir? Pull this over here. It's actually already imaging right now. It's we just started, so hey man, we've been running for a few hours. We did some follow-up observations on some known objects. I did kind of a tutorial on Tycho, and now I'm just starting my survey right now, just starting that, getting that going. I lost my feed to my, I don't know why I lost my feed to the telescope here, so hang on a second. Okay, let me get the clock out here for you guys. Let me set this so you guys can see this. There's the telescope. There's the clock. Okay. Okay, so we're back up and running. So yeah, the telescope automatically slew. It's already imaging. It's taking images of whatever it's scheduled for the night. So it's looking in the opposition point right now. And I normally would have started this 3 hours ago. So it's 3 hours. It's basically picking up from where it would be 3 hours from its start point. So wherever it would be normally is where it's at. So so that's that, you know. New channel points. Are you 1/200th to the way of the get that prize? Which prize are you going for? Did you guys see the main prize, man? Is that what you see? Did you see it? Put that in there for you guys, man. Image of deep sky object of your choice. That's what it is, man. How many is it? What is it? We put it some ridiculous number. Like we put something ridiculous, right? I don't remember if we put 500,000 or 1 million or something. I thought that was so funny. 1 million. I love it. 6.4K. Come on, baby. You could do it, man. I believe in you, brother. I believe in you, man. I believe in you. Let me load the, where am I at? I got to go to the E drive. We put a 10 terabyte drive in our system now because we're collecting so much data now. I put a 10 terabyter in there. So we had to switch stuff around. So I'm still getting used to where things are at. And I started messing with Firefox because I wasn't happy with, Chrome was doing some weird stuff with SkySift. And I don't know why, but it just was. So hang on. Astrometry. Open with Firefox. Let's do our transient detection stuff too. Let me open this with Firefox. And then let me go to Milky Way, transient astrometry, open with Firefox. Normally this gets done automatically, but because we did the stream, I didn't, I have to open this by hand here. So I've just popped up these. Oh, there you go. So we have our follow-up. Our pages basically are sitting there ready for data to come in. So we have our opposition, Milky Way, follow-ups, the low elongation, and then we have our transient detection stuff, which is here. So we just literally sit back and it'll start populating into the left side where it says SkySift. That yellow column will start populating with potential targets to look at. So we just sit back, and as the images come in, it's going to take a while for the first sets to come because we started late, and remember we need 3 images of a field to process. So you take an image, and then it takes another image, another field, and it comes back to that image. And it does that like 20 minutes later, and then it goes through in images, and it comes back. And by the time when it hits that third image, then it processes the 3 together and looks for any motion within them. So that's going to take some time as we sit here for this. So what do you got? Uh-oh, did they drop that off? That's funny. Somebody brought some fudge to our door. They dropped off some sweet treats, man. No, I don't have the edge, man. Sorry. You thought I had the edge? Really, man? Come on, does that... Oh, wrong camera. Does that look like the edge, dude? Tourist, man. I'm disappointed, brother. We're the Raza family over here, man. We're the Raza family. You request Barnard's Loop at 3916. That would be easy. That's your request. 14 native focal length. I had a gentleman contact me. A lot of guys getting 14. So we had Dennis who was just on. He has a 14 as well. And had somebody contact me the other day. Got a 14 and had not even put a reducer on it. And was like, I'm doing some follow-up stuff, man. I've imaged some asteroids and he's like shooting it at native length, man, like full focal length, man. And he's like, yeah, I'm doing a 30-second exposure and I'm not seeing a lot of stars. And I'm like, well, you got a reducer? Like, what do you got? Oh, no reducer, man. Like, really? 30 seconds, man? Oh, man, you're going to have to shoot like 30 minutes, man, to see something with that thing. You know? So, and what the funny part is he had a hyperstar in the box sitting there. He'd gotten it like a week prior, and he hadn't put it on yet. So he put it on. He messaged me the other day. He's like, "Oh my gosh, what a difference!" So yeah, image of DSO, moon at high exposure. I know, right? Exactly. There's a guy on YouTube, Bruce Sees All, I think it's called. You guys got to check that channel out, man. It's awesome. He's got a 14. And he has a camera on it. I think he's shooting native, and he just looks at the moon the whole time, and he specializes in finding like weird stuff flying off the moon. That's the whole thing. He looks at stuff coming off the moon. He catches some weird stuff too, man. I ain't gonna lie. I've seen it. I'm like, whoa, that's bizarre. SETI featured me on IG for the 3rd time this week. Oh, really? On Instagram, they put you on there? What are you doing? What were you doing, man? Were you showing some stuff from Greg? What were you showing on there that they featured you? It's awesome. Congratulations, dude. Way to go, man. Congrats. You guys don't follow Arcturus. You need to. He does great processing of images. He's a good dude. You're a young guy, right? I mean, you're pretty new at this, aren't you? You do. He does phenomenal work, man. Your long project. Yeah, he. If you haven't, Arcturus, drop your Instagram link, man. I don't have a problem with that. Do that. Put that in here, so people can see, man. You get to check out his images. He puts some good stuff up for sure. So we're just kicking back, waiting for these images to come through. We'll blink through a few. I'm not going to run all night. I'll probably run till about midnight or 1 or something. And that's about it. I ran all night last night, night 4. We still, this thing we got to do, man, I still need to get the roof automated. Right now, the telescope will park itself and do all stuff. And, yeah, there you go, man. You're very welcome, my friend. Are you kidding me? You're always, started March. He's 13 years old, guys. You got to check him out, man. Arcturus does phenomenal work, man. If you haven't clicked his link, follow him up. We love having him out here. He's a great part of the community, man. He bounces all over the place. He does stuff for Econ Greg, man. He does processing for Econ Greg and does amazing work, man. So check him out. But yeah, as I was saying, I got to get the roof automated. I gotta get it figured out. The telescope will park itself and everything. It won't power off yet, but it'll park itself, which is okay. I don't need to power off right at that moment, but it'd be nice to get the roof closed. So that's kind of the next project. Ugh, one project after the next. Right now I have to physically go out there and close it myself, which it's easy. I can do it with one hand. It's built really well. We did good, but image the dimmest target I've gone for this weekend. What was it, man? You looking for the 9th planet out there, man? Like, what'd you find, man? Give me an image of Voyager out there. Can somebody capture the image of Voyager? I want to get that one. Oh, the witch head. What's the witch head at right now? Where based on where you're at? I don't know what your skies are. Where you looking? You guys all see we got guys that take all these beautiful images, man. We just do black and white pictures of dots flying around, man. We're not very exciting here. We're not very exciting. A lot of black and white dots. That's what we do here, man. 2 hours though. Can't imagine my telescope sitting on one target for 2 hours. Bortle 3-4. See, and that's good. Those are good skies. I wish we were in 3 at least, man. I think we would really kill it even more, man. I think we would just be like being very destructive at Bortle 3. Especially with the Raza 14, I think that we would just be like, okay. No filter. See, now that's my boy. Now you're talking my language. That's my boy. Don't put that filter stuff in front of your images. You ruin it. Au natural, man. Stock DSLR. You need to get yourself a camera, man. When are you gonna get a CMOS, man? I'm glad. It's good for you, man. Are you gonna try to get yourself a ZWO or something down the road? $12 years old, man. That camera. Well, I'm not surprised. They built them good. I mean, I tried, our history is 15 years ago. I was trying to do some of not asteroid work, but I was trying to image deep sky objects, and I had a Canon 40D on my Vixen 200L, which they still make that telescope, on my Orion Atlas mount. This is what it was. And I remember, man, I get the 40D, and 40D was cool because it had, you could I don't remember what's the term for it, where you can open the exposure and see the image before you take the image, right? So you could actually get focus on it through there. So I was all fired up about that, but my Lord, I couldn't for the life of me get a decent image. It was so hard because I couldn't get good tracking, and it was really hard to like get the mount, tracking right, and find the target. And I mean, I just had the worst time. This was 15 years ago, and I actually quit. I gave up. We walked away. I sold everything, walked away from the hobby. I was like done. So things have changed so much. Got to get, you know what you got to do? Here's what you got to do. I hope Greg's not listening. You need to charge Greg for the processing of his images and then buy a camera. Shh. Don't tell him I said that. Sorry, Greg, if you're listening to it, I love you, brother. Sorry, man. Charge him. Oh. Yeah. Sorry, Greg. That's what you should do, man. Say, listen, bro, I want to process. Can you help me out here? Throw me a bone. Greg's big dollars, man. He's big dollar bills. He's big money. $100 per process. Yeah, I'm down with it. Look at my, there's my deep sky image right there. Look at that. There's my deep sky image of the night, guys. Right there. Right there. Ready? There it is. There it is, baby. See, let me zoom into that field again. This field just came in. There it is. Our deep sky image of the night. I don't even have that listed in my what that is. I don't know. I'm sure what that target is, but there it is, man. Pretty good. Pretty good, right? Pretty awesome. That's what we do. Oh, it's gone. It's gone. That's it, man. One show a night, ladies and gentlemen. That's all you get. One show a night. Sorry. That's it. That was it. We capture a lot of galaxies when we're see the telescope slewing to its next location automatically. It's going to go into position. It waits for 3 seconds, and then it'll do a 30-second exposure. I got to see this. Let's see this witch head thing, man, he's got going on here. Oh, yeah, man. Oh, yeah. Let me show that link here. This is good, bro. This is good. I'm not logged in, am I? Am I logged in here? Yeah, let me put a little heart on that action for you. That's good, man. It's nicely done. You got a like from asteroid hunters, and that's really what matters. You know what I mean? That's important. Great job, dude. Love it. Great job. There you go. You guys haven't checked him out, man. Check him out. I'm telling you, does great work. 13 years old. This kid's going to have an A-pod by the time he's 14. He might have 2 for all we know. You saw our deep sky imaging. It's hot. Pretty much it. That's all that matters, man. Oh, dude, you're just getting started. Are you kidding me? That's already in the bank, man. That's already guaranteed in the bank, done. That's easy. We're still waiting, man, for the first set of data here to come through. So that script that you guys are seeing behind there, that's SkySift running, and it's doing all the calculations, plate solving the images, doing everything when it. So when an image comes in, let me pull this down so you guys can see. Did you guys like our little Christmas border, man? We did that just for you guys, man. I hope you guys like that. So see, it's taking an automatic 30-second exposure. And as soon as it hits the folder, then SkySwift will automatically process it. So what you're seeing is on the one box there is Maxim. So the image will come. It's almost done. You see the bar go across there in the camera thing. It's gonna expose. 30 seconds. Let's see here. Boom. Boom. Calibrated it. Done. Right. So that's 188. So yeah, so it comes into Maxim, and as soon as it hits the folder, it calibrates it and automatically stores it in the data folder, and it waits for that third exposure, but it'll plate solve it, and it has all the plate solve. It's all processed and ready to go. So as soon as the third image comes in, then it sticks them together, starts blinking through them and looking and analyzing the data. So that's what it does. So it's just automatically doing it. So it'll slew, it waits 30 seconds, then it'll take a 30-second exposure. I'm at the point where I'm pondering whether I'll get an Astro Cam. It's like something miraculous going to happen, or just like never going to happen. Be stuck with the DSLR the rest of my life. Got to figure out how to get an Astro camera in Arcturus's hands, man. How do we do this? I don't know, man. We got to. What is your telescope? I forget what you're using. What are you using down there, man? I forget. Forget what you have going on. You're just shooting a lens. You don't even have a scope, do you? Oh man, that is so cool. So that makes that image even cooler, guys. He's just shooting with a telephoto lens, man. That is awesome. So you need, I know what you need, but yeah, I know it's really expensive. You need like a Red Cat or something, man. Or the new Radian. A Red Cat's good though. That's a Space Cat or Red Cat or something, right? James Vade, thanks for the tier 1, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it, man. Those of you who haven't subscribed, man, check it out. You might have a Prime sub that you can use. There's a lot of times you get that Prime subscription sitting there, so you can click that. Appreciate it. But Cowboy Tech, good to see you, man. Haven't seen you in a while. Hope all is well. Thanks for the host. Ideal scope right now is at SPV 100, $3,500. Oh yeah, see, you got big dreams, man. Look at you. You're just like a typical astronomer, man. You just got the big dreams for all the big gear. Doing all right, man. Doing all right. We've been on for, what have we been streaming for 3 hours now? You're gonna be bummed, Cowboy Tech. I did a full a bunch of follow-up stuff on a couple asteroids and did a full Tycho tutorial on everything. So if you can on Twitch, man, here's the thing. This video will save on our Twitch channel for a while, so you can go back and watch. So you can go back and watch this on Twitch. This will be in our channel there for a while. I think I know I pay a subscription fee. It should be in there for, I know I keep it in there more than like the 14 days or whatever. So you can check it out. We did a full tutorial on Tycho and also how to pull up on the Minor Planet Center, how to pull up like a search list for you to look for any kind of objects that you're trying to do follow-up work. We had Jerry Hubble in on the chat tonight. All kinds of good stuff going on. I just started the survey up like, what time is it? 20 minutes ago? So we just started it. Otherwise, I've been doing follow-up for the first 3 hours. So I don't know if you saw, man, I posted in the Discord, man, we did in the last 2 months, we did over 11,200 observations on 3,200 objects, man, in 2 months with the Sky Survey. Just killing it, dude. We had like 5 pages of observations in the Minor Planet Center page. Is awesome. Oh, the Skywatcher 200 is free. This is what I need, he says. I need this. I cannot live without this. I need this. Mom and Dad, I need this. Yeah, look, oh, that kid's $5,000. You're such a stud. I love that about you, man. Go big or go home. $5,600. You don't even mess around, man. You just go for the creme de la creme. You're like, I'm not even going to get, like, don't even get me a space cat, man. Like, I want the $5,000 spree. That's like the kid learns how to drive, man. He's like, look, man, I want the Ferrari. Don't mess with me. I don't need no Honda Civic. I'm going big. Give me the Ferrari, man, right now. I love that about you, dude. That is awesome. That is a nice setup. That is a great setup. That'd be perfect for a guy like you. See, here's what I do say. A piece of equipment like that, and let me show. I gotta show this. People maybe have not clicked this link. A piece of equipment like that, you would probably keep that the rest of your life. It's one of those pieces of gear, that high-end piece of gear you buy like that. If you as long as you do astronomy, you're always gonna have that. Like, you would utilize that. It's kind of like our Raza 14. I'll always use this the rest of my life. Like, that's it. There's, you get a good piece of equipment, you're always going to use it, C73. Well, yeah. But that's what I mean by stuff like that. It's like, you get something that's good piece of glass, man. You have it forever. I have I have a 5D Mark III and a Mark II. No, Mark III, just a Mark III. But I have L lenses. And it's like, I'll always use my L lenses. Always. They're great glass. Always. Right? I'll probably gift them to my kids when they're older, It's one of those things where you just have something that's good. You always use it the rest of your life in this kind of realm. That's what I think. I think telescopes are like that. I think if it's something that you do really well in and something you're going to hold on to, it's kind of like a nice piano. You know what I mean? Like, you've heard the stories, like, right? Like, oh, my parents gifted me their baby grand that they had. That's this amazing baby grand piano or whatever. You hear the stories. It's like, yeah, you get something really nice and then it just stays in the family forever. And they get a good telescope and it'll just last forever, if you take care of it. You're waiting for the day it dies. I'm scared, but I'm excited. What do the parents say, man? Are they waiting? Are they like, okay, as soon as it dies, we'll hook you up? Are they waiting? What's happening with that? They're not saying. They're like, please don't die. Don't die. No. They never thought about it. Don't you talk to them about it? Don't you throw hands? Don't you put telescope, come on, you got to be like Ralphie, man. You got to put like telescope pages of advertisements under their pillows at night and stuff, man. You got to put like ZWO, like drop little like YouTube videos of ZWOs in their folders, man. What Yeah, I'm muted. I was talking to my son. Sorry. My son came over, was talking to me, so I muted. Yes. They'll get mad at me. Come on, man. You got to be like Ralphie and the Red Ryder BB gun, man. It's Christmas time. Like, hey, slip that stuff under the pillow at night, man. That's how you do it. Mom and Dad, Mom and Dad, think of the beautiful artwork I could put around the house. Like, think of the images I could put on the wall to make the living room look even better. Isn't that important? And it could be something I took with my effort, Mom and Dad, from me, with love and care. So you got to work them, dude. You got to work them. Come on. Wouldn't it be great to have my art and my work on our wall as a family? That's what you say. And they were impressed. See? Good. That's what you got to do, man. You just got to work them. Let's see here. We're still waiting. We're still waiting. Where are we on? We're on image. What just came through here? Oh, it's working on the second set of fields right now. It says field 2 of Proc 12. So it's opposition. It's working on second set. So it's about halfway through set of images. Well, that's good. I mean, that's a great start, you know. You just need a good piece of glass, that's all, and good camera. You'd be dialed in. Oh, it's a present. Okay. Well, maybe they'll surprise you with something else. You never know. Maybe they'll surprise you. That'd be good. They have no idea what to get me. That's why that's why you got to drop the advertisements onto the pillow at night, man. Show them those high-end photos, you know, from the APOD winners, and say, hey, this could be on our wall, and I could have taken it from my backyard. Come on, I'm a parent, man. I know what that means. Come on, Mom and Dad. Don't you want my work on the wall? I'm telling you, that goes a long way. My son got into some photography stuff years back. We've got a bunch of his pictures. He was taking some amazing pictures. We got his pictures up on the wall. Some of that stuff, so. Exactly. Come on, Mom. $150,000 observatory. What's the problem, please? It's, as my daughter says, don't you have that card thing? You just Dad, don't you just have that card thing? You just swipe that, done? So my 9-year-old daughter says to me, Dad, don't you? Where's that card thing? Yeah, that's it. That's all you need. We're still waiting for this first set of images to come through. As soon as this first set comes through, we'll blink through it, and then I'm actually going to call it a night. We've gone about 3 hours, but I'm still waiting here. We're about halfway through here. We started the survey. We're waiting. Appreciate you guys being patient with it and hanging out with us, man. So I know. I'm old and tired. Achy. Can I say? Uh-oh. I'm losing the battery on this thing, Brandon. I'm going to lose this light. What happens if I do that? Does that go off? No, it doesn't. It might turn off. I might lose this one light over here. I had it running off my laptop because I had an issue with the power. I got to order a charger. See how my son is? Just where's that card thing? You just, you know, that card thing. My son, man, he has a love relationship with Amazon and Newegg. Dad, I put this stuff in the cart. You got to check it out. It's cool. 2, 3. Yeah, see? Dad, you need a couple of 3090s, man. The problem is I like that stuff, so I'm like, yeah, you're right. That's the problem. I'm a horrible parent, man. I'm like, yeah, it's cool. Let's get it. Aren't I supposed to be like, no, let's be responsible. I'm like, no, let's go. 3090s for everybody. Then I start to justify. We got a nice present for my daughter coming up, and it's like, hey, let's do this to it. Let's get. I think we're building her a computer. Let's get her 3090s, man. Exactly. Forgot 3 displays set up. Yeah, he's got a decent setup over there. He gets my hand-me-downs, so I upgrade, and then I give him my stuff that I'm using, so that's what I do. That's why he talked me into going 3950, so with 128 gigs of RAM. So I have a 3950, and I have it sitting here. Oh, I gotta show you. It's ready to go, man. 3950X in the box, like unsealed. Just came, man, ready to go. So we're gonna put that in the science computer here, and I have 128 gigs of RAM sitting there to go in, and then he's gonna take my 3900X with the 64 gigs of RAM. Yes, we do have liquid cooling for it. I don't. That's something we never got into, is the custom water cooled stuff, but we do buy the normal coolings that you get. See, I'm tired because I didn't get a lot of sleep over the last few days because I've been running all night. Yeah, I have a 3950X right here, Mike, in the box. It's going to go into this, my main computer. Sometime over the Christmas break here, coming up. And I have 128 gigs of Trident RAM that's going in. And then my son's going to get the 3900X with the 64 gigs of RAM that we have in here now. It's going to go into his machine. I tried to get the 5900 series, but I couldn't. I've been like trying, man. I've been on those websites where they have the bots that are the YouTube channels. You guys seen those? The guys have the bots that are out there looking at the stock, every like 5 seconds. And they're out there trying to find the 5900 series. I have a friend that works for AMD. I tried to work that. Yeah, I tried to get a 5950. I have a guy that even works for AMD. Couldn't do it, man. Can't do it. I could not do it. We tried, man. We've been trying to get 3080 cards too. No way. I've been trying, man. So, no, it's not the 5950. So I'm looking at 3950s. I'm like, they're in stock, man. Like, I can get them. Decent price. Like, let's buy it. So I got 3950. $16.6. I know, right? Problem is that motherboard won't support 16.6, but yeah. But don't worry, Mike. Don't worry. Yeah. That's right. That's exactly what Polar Bear says is right. My son, right. I'm going to get a 5950. Don't think that's not happening. It will happen. I'm just waiting. So... But I honestly don't think, guys, we're going to see that stock of that stuff until probably like April. March or April, probably when you start actually seeing like available stock. Like, oh, I want to get one. I can go to Newegg and buy one today. Like, you know what I mean? RX 5580. That's good. I think it'll be the same way with the 3080s, 3090s. I don't know if it'll go on the stream PC. I don't think it needs to be. But it could go into my other gaming computer. I mean, my goal, I told you, Mike, my goal is I want to kind of have all Ryzen systems here. I'm such a Ryzen fan, man. I love that stuff. They're just way better. I love what AMD's doing. Intel needs to get it together, man. Yeah, maybe. I need a PC. Poor Arcturus, man. But I like how Arcturus thinks. He's like, here's what I need. And he puts like a $5,000 telescope setup up. It's like, I need this. It's like, I like how you think, dude. There you go. Yeah, we have a, what do we have, a 2060? card in there, the 3700X. That card's been nice, but it's streaming PC. It doesn't need a lot of juice. It works really well. For those that you don't know, I mean we tend to overbuild our systems here quite a bit. I have a couple reasons for that. Is that I tend to future proof these things, and I also just don't want to. I'm like, okay, I have a lot of stuff that gets ran on these things, and I'm just like, I don't want to deal with any kind of bottlenecks, And I will say, the price of a lot of this gear out there, they're pretty close, reasonably priced, but pretty close together. So, and what I mean by that is you can buy like a 3600X for, I don't know what they are. They're $200, and then a 3900X is like $400, and you sit there and go, well, for a few hundred more dollars, I get a substantial upgrade. It's like some of this gear, and RAM prices right now are even amazing. Brandon was telling me that how much was 16 gigs? Like 70, 90 bucks, 80 bucks, 70 bucks or something for 16 gigs of RAM. And that's a really, for G-Skill, that's a good price, man. It's a really good price. So, 90 bucks. So, we put 32 gigs of RAM in all our machines baseline. Like I don't have anything running 16 at all. Everything's minimum has 32. But I don't deal with a lot of issues. I don't, when I hear problems like even what Dustin shares or people share about the Windows stuff they have, I don't have that. This machine right now has 64 gigs of RAM on it. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces of software running right now. 7 of which are automated. And this runs every night, and I don't ever have a hiccup ever. It just runs. And there's 9 substantial SkyX and Maxim and stuff. There's substantial software running at any given time. So yeah. So we've actually been having some conversations about building our own custom Asteroid Hunter line of computers as well. We actually, our science build over here next to me, we put together. It's kind of along the lines that we might offer to the public for people if they had interest in us building machines. So, COVID asked combined birthday thing, asked fly to California, meet Dustin and the OPT crew. Nice. But yeah, we go big or go home here. I hate to say it, we do. We're bad. All right, what did we capture? We got something coming in here. Oh, not that. Yeah, there we go. We got a couple of main belters here. We'll take a look at those real quick. Visual pinpoint. Let me go pop this up. SkySIF data. What's today's date right here? What are we looking at? Opposition. Before we go to the unidentified, let's go to the identified list. So here's the asteroids that we just imaged. Ooh, big boys. And that is asteroid 1990 SP15. You're like, oh my gosh. It's, what is this, field 3? What am I looking at right now? Why is field 3 not coming up? Oh, there it is. That is, the reason why that is so big and bright is it's magnitude 13. So, okay. I'll look at that. Oh, yeah. I'll show that. Thank you, son. I'll show that in a second. This is magnitude 13. This is object Chloe, asteroid main belter as well. So we'll look at the next one. And these are just asteroids we randomly captured within our field of view that we're searching. This is magnitude 17.2. Jantis. There's a lot of different weird names. Some of these have Russian names and all kinds of different names depending on when they were discovered and who they were discovered by. This is 2000 AU-186. This is magnitude 18 that we're looking at right there. I don't know if you guys can see that white dot there. Let me speed up my... This is magnitude 18. This is Steve Co. Asteroid Steve Co. Don't ask me. I can't tell you why. So those are 3 positions that we, again, our software will measure those 3 positions. Position 1, position 2, position 3. So those are the 3 positions that it's measuring. that's that. Let's look at number 4. And I look at that here. This is asteroid 1990 SP15 right there. Magnitude 18 as well. You can just make it out. This is magnitude 17.7. This is San Marcello right there. Again, main belters, slow movers, their position angles are all pretty much the same. 270 range, 229, position angle 299, all coming out of that kind of that southern area of the ecliptic. Excuse me. So they're all main belters, 0.157 degrees per day, 0.138. They're really slow, these things. So there's a lot of them that are out there, as we know. When I say main belters, I'm talking about what's coming off the main belt of the main belt asteroids are coming out of our asteroid field out there. Okay, so let me look at let's look at unidentifieds, and we'll just blink through these real quick. And we're just searching. Subtract an image, yes. So you can kind of see this image has no star. See how there's like no stars in the image? See how it's all dark? Okay, so if I pull up the chart plot on the star chart, you can see there's stars in the field, but you see how we have no stars in our image right here? Our image cross. So that's the image subtraction I was talking about. So when you have an image that's got quite a few stars in it, it'll subtract it out, and it's just looking for any motion within there to see. So what it will capture, though, sometimes it'll subtract a star out, and you might get a little subtraction residual, and it'll think it's an object. So right now, that second position, if I look at the star chart right here, I pull up Gaia catalog and I do an overlay. See the red circles? The bottom one is our first position, the second one is our second position, or the middle and the top is our third position. The second position, see how there's a blue dot in the middle of it? There's actually a star sitting there. I can pull up the catalog and see exactly what that star is. That star is 15 magnitude. Okay? So this object is actually, what it is a residual of that star, because it's subtracting it out. So it's actually not an asteroid or anything like that. It's just what it thinks could be. So it's, but this is the subtraction that is happening. So we just go to the next one. And same thing again, it's subtracting the star, and it didn't quite subtract them all the way out there. So sometimes you get a little subtraction error that happen. So the star all of a sudden appears, and then it goes away. But you see the big gray smudge? That's the subtraction that's happening. Sometimes you might get a little tracking error or something, and it causes the subtraction to kind of not be covered slightly. It doesn't matter at all, only because all we're doing is looking for points of light that are moving. Okay, so you could see, like when you guys saw the images of the asteroids, they were pretty defined. When you find points of light, they can be, the telescope, they'll resolve it. It'll be defined. You'll be able to know. But you see right there, you see the second point right there. You see how all of a sudden there's a star that appears and then it goes away. So you know it's just hitting those stars. It's not, that's the motion it tracks. It's just kind of like when you run Tycho Tracker and it finds all kinds of different possible movements of pixels and stuff. It just picks up random noise and thinks that it's something. And so the idea is that we have to blink through these images to double check to see if these are potential targets or if it's just noise in the image or subtraction residual or any of those kinds of things. And that's all it is here. These are just, these are very normal. This is a very normal thing. It's like, no, that's not an asteroid. That's just subtraction residual of stars that is subtracting. So we check those, and then we just kind of check off our boxes here, and we see the next set of fields has come up. So we go to our next set. And I'll blink through these real quick. and we're just kind of looking to see. Again, there's a star right there in the middle that it thinks just pixels and noise and stuff. It's all it is. Okay, so this looks interesting. So this is actually an object. So let's see. This is, and you could just tell. You see how that thing's moving? You see that how it populates the image? You can tell that's an asteroid, 100%. So we go, okay, what is that? Let's go to field 1903. We pull that up, field 1903. Here it is right here. And if we look at it, this is the actual, it's a asteroid lit key. See the distance, 0.09 arc seconds per arc seconds away from its position. This is the actual what we're seeing. We're seeing that asteroid right there, in there. So that's all it is, a known asteroid. So we don't need to worry about that. So we'll just continue on with our search. That automatically gets cataloged and sent to the Minor Planet Center, that data we collected. And that's it. So we've clicked through those fields. So now we just check these clear, and we just wait for more to come through. And that's pretty much it. That's the sky search kind of in action there, how it is. And we've captured right now, we just started it. We've already captured 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 known asteroids in the first, 20 minutes of imaging. We've captured 8. We already have data on them. That's going to get sent out, position stuff. So you guys saw we spent several hours working on 2, right? I just spent 20 minutes and got 8. So you can see that's how we end up getting like almost 1,000 at times, depending again where we're looking at in the sky. It's not always the case. We could be looking at areas that are kind of a desert where there's not a lot of asteroids out there on the ecliptic or anything that are away from that, and then we only get we get none or we get 1, and that's fine. We are just searching, but along our search. While we're searching, we'll find known stuff. So, but we report that data. So we are doing the work of reporting the actual data of these asteroids and helping keep tabs of this stuff. I mean, these objects, 1,000 objects, we get observations on 1,000 objects in a night. We're helping keep track of where these, what these are doing, if there's any changes in the orbits, those kinds of things. That's what we're helping with in that. So we are, we are kind of keeping our eyes on the sky every single night and keep an eye on these objects every night. That's what we're doing. So so there it is, guys. That's kind of it. I'm actually about 3 hours, 20 minutes. I'm going to call the stream here. But man, thank you all for coming to hang out. I hope it wasn't too boring. I know I was chatting a lot about stuff and talking. I hope there was some tutorial stuff in there. Cowboy Tech, go back, check out the stream. You'll get a little tutorial there on Tycho. If you haven't, joined the Discord, please do, guys. Any questions, comments, concerns, join the Discord, message me, let me know, man. We're here for you guys. We're here to help you guys out, to learn more about this stuff. We want to be a great resource for people in the science community and share what we're doing. I mean, we're here to share all of what we're doing with you guys and let you guys see what's really going on. This software we have running here, man, this is the same stuff that's going on at Atlas, the same stuff that's going on with the Catalina Sky Survey. All the big dogs are using the same kind of stuff. So we had the opportunity to show it to you guys, to show you and let you see it. And I'm passionate and adamant about that. I'm so excited to be able to show those things to you guys so you could see it, because we didn't have that opportunity years ago when we started this. And have you guys get an idea of what it means to run this stuff and have a sky survey and do this kind of science. So we're really trying to bring that to the light in the forefront. Follow our YouTube channel, Instagram, all that good stuff. My son has the links. Again, you guys are looking at any equipment, man, we got links for OPT. It really helps us out tremendously if you purchase any equipment through the OPT link that we have there, as well as the merchandise. Everything supports the channel, man, in many great ways. So, hey, man, Merry Christmas to everybody, huh? Or I should say Happy Holidays. I know there's folks out there who don't celebrate Christmas. That's awesome. Happy holidays, man. Just everybody have a great, safe holiday. We don't see you guys between now and Christmas. I will be running the asteroid stream, the search channel stream this week, so you'll see that. But we probably won't be back here till next Sunday. But, man, enjoy the holidays. You guys all be safe out there, man. And we're really looking forward to getting out of 2020. Lord help us. Get us out of this thing. Oh, my gosh. 2021 can't come fast enough. So I just hope everybody's being safe. We happen to be in the most infected place on the planet, from what I understand, Southern California. We're super excited about that. We're like the poster child of COVID right now. This is how we do it. This is how we roll here. So, all right, guys. Thank you all so much, Mike. I'll message you when I get off here. But everybody, enjoy the rest of your evening and have a great week. And check out that conjunction. It's happening tomorrow, man. It's actually already happening, but tomorrow night it's kind of the peak of it, the pinnacle. Saturn, Jupiter, they're gonna give a little kiss to each other. And we've been all waiting for that. Don't miss that, guys. Don't miss that. There's people streaming that. Check it out. If you can't see it from your house, get on stream, check it out, because it's something hasn't happened in 180 years or something crazy. These are like once in a lifetime things to see if you love astronomy. Saturn, Jupiter in the same field of view, right next to each other. I mean, they're physically not like right next to each other. They didn't, but image wise, they're kind of lined up so you can see them. So 900 years, yeah, whatever, 900. I mean, it's a crazy amount of years. Whatever it is, it's crazy years. So you got to check it out, man. Tomorrow night, if you haven't already, do yourself a favor. So, all right, guys, enjoy the rest of your week, and we will catch up with you again soon. Thanks again for hanging out with the Asteroid Hunters. You guys have a good night. Take care.